Welcome to another exposing the police state, prison state, death state, right here on Delete Laws. What's going on out there in the land of YouTube? Do me a favor, everybody, hit the like button. Take your finger right there, just reach down, hit that thumbs up button. That's the like button. And then if you would please type into the comment section, OTVO, overturn Terry versus Ohio. Put it down in there. Overturn Terry versus Ohio. Type it right there, OTVO. If you're new to the channel, if you're first time you've ever been to Delete Laws, what's up, Playboy? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming. I super appreciate it. We're going to talk about Anthony Allegrini Jr. We're going to talk about Anthony Allegrini Jr. We're going to take a look at some of his videos. I don't know if his parents put this up after he was gone. It looks like that's what happened. Looks like they started a YouTube page in his name. Did everybody hit the like button? Have you guys all hit the like button? Did you guys take your finger and did you hit the like button? Did you hit the like button? Did you guys do that? And did you type in the comment section, OTVO, overturn Terry versus Ohio? Anthony Allegrini was apparently in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the jackboot thug pig came up to him with guns drawn. And when the pigs come up to you, you immediately put your hands up and invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Don't say a frickin' word. Shut your frickin' mouth. Shut the front door. Stop talking. Stop talking. Sorry. Before I did this live stream, Rights On sent me this information about an hour ago. Since then, I've watched the press conference and I've watched a half a dozen videos on Anthony Allegrini. And I listened to his girlfriend explain that he's a harmless soul who cared about everybody. He was 18 years old. He happened to be at a street racing event and he was murdered by the pigs. So forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me for being so passionate. I'm sorry if I yelled at you. I didn't mean to. I just want you to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to talk to these jackboot thug pigs. It's not working out. It's not working out. They're coming up, guns drawn on you. Great. I plead the Fifth. Go mute. That's it. If you don't have the card in your hand, I plead the Fifth. I'm so sorry. I'm doing this wrong. I plead the Fifth. I plead the Fifth Amendment. That's how I want you to interact with these pigs. This is how I want you to interact with pigs. I plead the Fifth Amendment. You have anything else to say? I plead the Fifth Amendment. I plead the Fifth Amendment. That's it. They want to grab you and throw you on the ground and abuse you. Go ahead. Go ahead. You lived through this. They shot an 18-year-old kid. They shot him. They murdered him. They murdered him plain as day. So let's watch the murder. We're going to listen to the guy's girlfriend crying about him being dead. She's 18 years old too. You know, he had a long-term relationship with this girl, 18 years old, and her guy was murdered by the pigs. She's now going to be one of us for life. The pigs murdered her 18-year-old loving boyfriend who wouldn't hurt a fly. He was the sweetest kid ever. Let's listen to her cry. Let's listen to her.
From the heart of Philly, this is CBS News Philadelphia. Now at 11.
Racing and dangerous driver antics cause chaos.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm so sorry. That's the state-run lying media. I'm so sorry. That's not the one I want to show you first. So, you know, drivers driving recklessly caused his death. That's state-run media. Anthony wasn't in a street race. He was watching. He had nothing to do with it. He was there filming with his phone like you or I would. He was a totally innocent bystander. That's the state-run lying media. Can someone put that in the comment section, please? State-run lying media. Put it right in the comment section. The state-run media. ABC, CBS, Fox, CNN, state-run media. MSNBC, state-run media. Put it in there. I mean, I can... Ooh, I feel my OCD is kicking in today because I watched this kid get murdered. Jeff hates pigs. Jeff hates pigs. I think the majority of people who come to this channel hate pigs. I think that's the truth. I mean, put a 1 in the chat if you don't like pigs at all. Put a 1 in the chat if you do. Richie, put a 1 in the chat if you don't like Keto on Kratom. I know Keto is such a loving human being, but just put a 1 in the chat if you don't like pigs. I know you don't hate anybody, Keto. I know Keto on Kratom doesn't hate anybody. He's a nice human being, but the state-run media is going to lie to us about everything. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just all lies.
Developing now.
It's just all lies. They're lying to us. They're lying to us. They're lying about everything. They're lying about everything. They're lying to us. They're lying to us. So I fast forwarded this just a little bit, just so we can get past the state-run media garbage, because they're gonna lie in the beginning and make up a bunch of lies about Anthony that aren't true. But then you're gonna hear the girlfriend come on, and she's gonna tell the truth. So the state-run media is gonna lie, and then she comes on.
Kindest soul ever. He cared about everyone.
Reagan Hocking was Allegrini's girl.
He just had
From his injuries at the scene, spinning tires and speeding in circles.
No, but that wasn't Anthony. Anthony wasn't doing that. Anthony wasn't speeding in circle and screeching tires. That's not what he was doing.
That report also says Allegrini was behind the wheel of a car that failed to stop.
Oh, so there it is. Just like Takaya Young. Just like Takaya Young in Ohio, who was accused of shoplifting. When the pigs pointed their gun at him and said, stop, stop, he just kept on creeping away because he didn't want to deal with the pigs because he wasn't involved in the racing. And there was hundreds of people who were also driving away at the time. We're going to get into that in a minute. But first I want you to hear, because this is Anthony Allegrini's girlfriend explaining the kind of character that he had.
Striking two troopers, and that...
Oh, so there's another state-run media lie. Do you hear the state-run media lie? I'm so sorry. So here's the state-run media lie that they said that he hit two troopers. That's a lie.
He was behind the wheel of a car that failed to stop, striking two troopers.
No, that's a lie. That's an absolute lie. This is exactly like Takaya Young. The pigs had stationed themselves on the corner of his car so they could slide right off, and they murdered him because he wouldn't comply to their demanding piggish orders. So don't let the state-run media lie to you. They're lying. They're lying. He did not attempt to hit any state. He was 18 years old. He was going to college. He was a good kid. I don't know if he was a senior in high school still, or he was just going to school, about to start college. 18 years old. He was not running over state troopers, which why are they called troopers in America? We don't want troopers in our country. We want rights protectors. There's a big difference.
And that's when one of the troopers fired at Allegrini, who died from his injuries at the scene.
Murdered.
The two troopers had minor injuries.
He just had the kindest soul ever. He cared about everyone.
Reagan Hocking was Allegrini's girlfriend and says the 2023 Interborough graduate loved hockey, working out, and cars. While she was not with him Sunday morning, she has gone with him before to other car meetups.
They would do burnouts, racing, stuff like that. I agree that is not the most safe place to put yourself in. I don't blame him at all for any of this. It's just kids having fun. I've went to them. I've had fun.
She says in the...
No, burnouts are dangerous. Burnouts are dangerous, honey. If your boyfriend is participating where they're doing burnouts, that's dangerous. The cops are going to come in there and kill everybody, okay? If you're doing burnouts, cops are going to kill you. You're making it dangerous? Kill him. Your freedom is dangerous. Kill him. Kill the free kid. Kill that 18-year-old free kid. Kill him now. Kill him. They did. They killed him. They killed him. This is the girlfriend explaining what a wonderful human being Anthony was.
Hours since Allegrini's death, she's heard conflicting accounts about what happened, including that he may have been outside his car when he was shot.
What? I mean, there's nothing you're going to say that's going to steer the narrative away from what the pig said. Come on. Don't be lying about conflicting reports. Whatever the pig said is the truth. Whatever the pig said.
I saw a video where you hear the gunshot. It's a person who is there continues to drive up and shows his body laying behind the police car, far distanced away from his own car.
She tells CBS News Philadelphia she's committed to making sure the truth is reported.
I think he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
No, I'm sorry. The wrong place at the wrong time is anywhere in the United States of America where the pigs are. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time if there's anybody around you wearing a badge who calls themselves a law enforcer. We're all in the wrong place at the wrong time. If you're a pig, you go down as a Nazi piece of shit. If you're a pig, your grandkids in 50 years, 75 years, your grandkids will deny you were in their family. They'll go, my grandpa, a cop in the 2020s? Nope. He's not, he wasn't related to us. I heard that he actually didn't have the same blood as we did. He was adopted into our family. So I know that he's my grandpa, but he wasn't part of the original lineage of my mother's line. He was adopted by my great grandparents, and so he wasn't even part of the original line to begin with. He was adopted into our family, that Nazi pig who murdered Anthony Allegrini. Your grandkids will deny that you're related to them because you joined a Nazi jackboot thug pig organization. And I can't help it but wish you that you go to hell when you die for murdering an 18-year-old kid. Now she's saying that she was receiving conflicting reports and that she has a video showing that Anthony was out of the car when he was shot. Anthony did not immediately invoke his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent when he was talking to pigs, which is what I recommend you do. Because it sounds like Anthony was killed pretty quick. Upon interaction with cops, they shot him. They shot him. Just like that. They murdered him. Just like that. Let's see what else she has to say.
And unfortunately, it just ended in a very, very bad way.
Oh, no.
It is reported.
No. Honey, I know you're a victim right now. I know it. But no. You're saying the wrong things here. Let me break down what she said here.
He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right. All of us are around pigs.
And unfortunately...
No. This is what the jackboot thug pigs are trained to do, is to come up with their guns drawn. And that automatically heightens everybody. Because you come running at me with a gun, let me just tell you something, I can knock you on your ass in about 2 seconds flat. So you come running up with a gun like a beta male chump ass pig, and I'm like, go F yourself. Right? That's how I am. I'm that way. I'm teaching you not to be that way. I'm teaching you to invoke your Fifth Amendment right immediately. I'm teaching you not to be that way with these pigs so you can live and then sue their asses afterwards or contact someone like myself who will help you in some way, connect you with other people. There's all kinds of ways I can help you.
It just ended in a very, very bad way.
No. It ended in the way the cops are trained to murder us. It ended in the way that their safety is premier, and that if anything or anybody were to even slightly challenge or ever put them in the slightest bit of danger, it's the gun and you get shot several times. And then the worst part is Anthony Allegrini laid on the ground and was struggling, and they didn't help him. Instead, they pointed their guns at more people passing by.
Alicia Roberts, CBS News, Philadelphia.
But let me just hold on.
To making sure the truth.
You hear Felicia, what's her name? Felicia Roberts, state-run media representative. Let's see how she starts her report. Let's listen to what she says in the beginning, just real quick, because she interviewed the girlfriend and kind of at the end of it and showed kind of that, you know what, maybe it wasn't quite how we all said. But let's listen to how she started her report, just real quick.
CBS News Philadelphia. Now at 11, street racing and dangerous driver antics.
Street racing and dangerous driver antics. Anthony Allegrini was not involved in street racing or doing any dangerous driver antics.
Cause
chaos. State-run media.
Philadelphia police respond to reports of...
Philadelphia police responded. They didn't come out there looking to kill anybody. Or they did.
Across the city, including one on I-95 that ended with the driver being shot.
It ended with the driver being shot. Not they murdered an unarmed man who didn't challenge them in any way. Not the guy tried to drive away and so they shot him because he didn't want to stay there and talk to pigs. Not that.
Dead by a state trooper. Good evening.
Now, she's black, so she's a traitor. She's a traitor to her own people. She's a state-run media representative. She's a scumbag. The girl you're looking at right here, she's a scumbag. Listen to what she says. You tell me.
Aziza Schuler, state police responded to reports of numerous vehicles blocking 95.
They were blocking the freeway.
Creating dangerous conditions.
Anthony Allegrini was creating dangerous conditions.
Near Penn's Landing early this morning. Drivers performing stunts for crowds.
The drivers were performing stunts for crowds. She's looping Anthony Allegrini in with people who were driving and doing stunts for crowds, but Anthony wasn't doing that. He wasn't involved.
CBS News Philadelphia.
CBS News Philadelphia is a state-run media organization who's paid by the elites and the politicians to give you bullshit news.
Reporter Alicia Roberts spoke to someone who was close.
Oh, so I'm sorry. This is the lying reporter, lying state-run media reporter, handing it off to the other lying state-run media reporter. Just remember that. Pick your poison. Fox or CBS or ABC or NBC. All of them are the same.
to the man who was shot by police.
The man who was shot by police. Oh, she makes it very serious that the man was shot, but she doesn't in any way give any kind of indication that maybe the cops were acting like jackboot thug pigs.
Pennsylvania State Police and the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office are investigating.
Oh, so now the Pennsylvania State Police are investigating themselves, and the District Attorney's Office, who works hand in hand with police day in, day out, week in, week out, they have meetings in their office. Often prosecutors have to, the entire office has to recuse themselves in dealing with the police shooting because they have too many personal relationships in the office with the murdering pig. And so then they just send it over to the prosecutor's office in the next county, who has the same relationships with the same murderous pigs in his little area, and some of the pigs who worked at this county went over to that county, and they go back and forth as they get fired or resign, and they keep their peace officer certificate, which then becomes a law enforcement certificate. I don't know how that happens, but it magically does as soon as they graduate from post or cleat. And so that district attorney in the next county over, if this district attorney actually recuses himself because he knows the pig who did the murdering, he knows all the pig's friends, then he sends it over to the other prosecutor who works with pigs day in, day out, every day, to help prosecute you for meaningless bullshit that there's no victim.
After 18-year-old Anthony Allegrini Jr. was fatally shot by a state trooper along I-95 near Penn's Landing just before 3:30 a.m. Sunday. According to the police report,
this is official. This is the actual finding here. This is the truth.
Troopers arrived to find, quote, a significant number of cars illegally blocking the southbound lanes of the interstate.
So Anthony was blocking the interstate, according to her.
With drivers spinning tires and speeding in circles. So a bunch of people are doing this. So this is what people enjoy to do. So they should go there and break it up so that they don't cause a problem in the highway. But they shouldn't go there pulling out their guns and shooting at people, which is exactly what they do. That report also...
Which, by the way, Anthony was not spinning circles. He was not a part of that.
...says Allegrini was behind the wheel of a car that failed to stop.
Failed to stop. Striking two troopers, she said. So the picture she's painting, the state-run media lying pig operative, she's feeding to you that Anthony Allegrini, he hit two troopers. He struck them. That's not true at all. That's not even kind of true.
And that's when one of the troopers fired at Allegrini, who died from his injuries at the scene.
That's when after he hit the state troopers and they hit the ground, he ran them over in his car. Then, after he did that, he was illegally blocking the freeway, driving dangerously, causing chaos, is what they said. It was chaos. Then he struck two troopers, and then, of course, they shot him. Oh, well... Do you see this in the news, Heather? I sure did. Local boy out there street racing. Guess he should have not. And then he hit the two troopers. Sounds like he hit the troopers. He struck them. He ran them over. Yeah, Heather, make sure I get the ham sandwich today. I don't want that turkey again. Some kid named Anthony, huh? Shouldn't have been breaking the law, I guess.
The two troopers had minor injuries.
He just had the kind of...
No, they didn't have any injuries. It's a lie. They made it up. It's not true. It's not true. I know it's not true. I know for a fact it's not true. That's not true. They're lying. They're sitting there lying the whole time. So do me a favor, hit the like button if you haven't hit it yet, and then type in the comment section, OTVO, overturn Terry versus Ohio, because they could have invested Anthony because they were suspicious. So I guess people cared about this kid, 18-year-old kid, for some reason. I don't know why. Another kid racing in the street and then running over troopers. He broke the law. That's how it goes.
Investigators are still trying to figure out exactly what happened last weekend when an 18-year-old was shot and killed by a Pennsylvania State trooper on I-95.
So who are the investigators? Oh, it's Pennsylvania State Police. Who are they investigating? Pennsylvania State Police. So then what's going to happen there? They investigated themselves and they found no wrongdoing. No crime, no wrongdoing. It's not a crime, it's no wrongdoing.
Near Penn's Landing after he allegedly struck two troopers at that car meetup.
Oh, now the state-run media on CBS is feeding the same bullshit narrative lie that he struck two state troopers. He did not.
While investigators try to piece together the details, one critical piece of evidence will be missing. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Liz Crawford joins us now. And Liz, the troopers weren't wearing cameras?
Well, Jessica, Pennsylvania state troopers as a whole do not wear body cameras.
Whoa! Oh my God! My God! Put a 1 in the chat if Pennsylvania is a total police state. Put a 1 in the chat if Pennsylvania, and I got friends in here, Writes On sent this to me a couple hours ago, and I've been watching it ever since. Thanks, Writes On. I appreciate that. Get over to Writes On channel and subscribe to his channel over here. I'll put his Reunite America. What's going on, Playboy? Good to see you, man. So Writes On sent me this video. Writes On, feel free to shoot me over any on our secret communication on Signals. Shoot me over any videos that I need to show here, Writes On. Anything that you got over there. Writes On is the original. This is his channel right here. He covers all kinds of stuff. So Pennsylvania doesn't have body cams on their troopers. I wonder why. You know, it's funny. A lot of the calls that I get from people, I mean, I get hundreds of emails a day, people saying, please help me, please help me, please expose my case. A lot of the cases I get come from Pennsylvania. Well, let's listen in. Let me let her finish talking here.
Now, other large law enforcement agencies in the state do. The majority of Philly police have them. All of Pittsburgh and Upper Darby officers have them as well. So why doesn't state police use the technology? Here's what I found out. At a news conference earlier this week,
they're going to explain to you why. They're going to explain all this. You don't got to listen. Don't worry about this. They're going to explain to you the reasons why. They're going to give you the contact and cover, and they're going to give you their policy and procedure, and they're going to explain to you the reason how they're doing things, and they're going to talk with their hands like this, and they're going to let you know the reason why you guys don't get to see the body camera, because you're not going to get to see us, you know, striking anybody down.
Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner.
Oh, Larry Krasner, the guy who's going to decide if there's a grand jury convened, is not going to convene a grand jury. Remember that. The district attorney's a scumbag pig. Behind every bad pig is a scumbag district attorney, a scumbag city council member, a scumbag commissioner. Behind every bad pig is one of these guys who empowers them. And this scumbag pig prosecutor here, who works hand in hand with the Pennsylvania State Police every day, he's on their team. The way he gets cases is the Pennsylvania State Police give him a case number. And then that makes him very important. And he gets a winning percentage and gets bonuses based on how many people he's convicted.
Vowed to figure out what exactly happened before 18-year-old Anthony.
Oh, they're vowing to figure it out, but they don't have body cams. And then if they do get body cams, we don't get access to them. It'll be very limited.
Allegrini was killed.
The truth matters.
Oh, does it, piggy? Does it, you lying pig?
The truth.
Oh, shut your mouth, bro. You have covered up for dozens of pigs in your career. You have worked hand in hand with pigs for decades and decades. You are as evil as they are, bro. You lock people up for victimless crimes that you create.
Matters.
Oh no, don't look at these guys in suits and think that they're good people. These are horrible people.
Noting that investigators need more evidence.
We ask anyone else.
They need more evidence, but we're not going to put body cams on pigs. I thought this was about the reason why the Pennsylvania state cops didn't have body cams on.
Out there who has additional video, please come forward with it so we can see it.
Yeah, because you know what? The only person who went to jail in Eric Garner's murder is the guy who filmed Eric Garner's murder. But come forward with your footage. Please come forward with your footage. You're not going to go to jail. We're not going to target you and arrest you. I promise. It's going to work out fine for you.
Police say a pair of state troopers were first to the scene. They say one of them shot and killed Allegrini when he failed to stop his car.
He struck them. He ran them over, remember?
They walked towards him.
As they walked towards him, he was pulling out and he didn't want to stop for pigs. I wonder why.
The troopers weren't wearing body cameras because state police haven't implemented them yet. Now, they're asking the public for video.
It's hard to put a whole story together off the clip.
Oh, by the way, we're going to watch his entire thing. You want to see the face of a lying bastard pig? There it is right there. Take a look at him. Doesn't he look like those storm ship troopers? Doesn't he look like that? Save America? Take a look at him. You know why I have my hair like this? Do you know why I look like this? Does anybody know this? I don't think I've ever told anybody. But I'll tell you. Well, number one, I had my hair cut like this most of my life because I was a wrestler and a fighter. But number two, I keep this look because I look just like them. When I go in to get a fade, I sit down to the guy and I say, make me look like a pig. The closer you can make me look like a pig, the better. That's what I want. Make me look like the dirtiest, nastiest pig you can, and make it look good, which, by the way, nice fade yesterday, bro. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate the fade, dude. The ones who look the most clean cut. The ones who look the most innocent. No problem, Mr. Johnson. I promise I'll have your daughter home before midnight. Sure, Mr. Johnson. Taking your daughter to the prom. It's going to be just fine. I swear, Mr. Johnson. Takes his daughter to the car, and you can figure out what happens next.
It's a video.
In a statement sent to CBS News Philadelphia, the governor's press secretary said in part,
"Oh, the Shapiro administration supports body-worn cameras and is working to give law enforcers," which is another backward, stupid term. We want rights protectors. We want peace officers. Nobody wants just laws arbitrarily enforced on them. We want cops to give the resources needed to implement body-worn camera programs so that we don't get access to them. So there's no third-party agency holds them, so that the cops can edit them, redact them, watch them back to fill out their reports. The body cam has become a tool for pigs. It's atrocious.
the Shapiro administration supports body-worn cameras and is working to give law enforcement the resources needed to implement body-worn camera programs. Pennsylvania State Police is expected to start a body camera pilot program later this summer. Now, both New Jersey...
They're going to start a pilot program, y'all. There's not body cams in hundreds of other cities in America. They need to do a pilot program and make sure that they get access to the footage so they can turn the mic on and off, turn the camera on and off, make sure individual cops who are wearing body cameras, they can go to other cops. I'm hot. We saw that with James Sheets' murder. But they're going to do a pilot program. We need to test this so that we make sure that we control every aspect of the body cam. When I'm governor, I'll change that from the top down. You guys are done. You're done. Law enforcing in the state that I'm governor comes to an end. Your only job is to protect people's rights. Your job is to solve crimes, not to law enforce on people driving down the road who have no victims.
Jersey and Delaware already require body-worn cameras for all law enforcement agencies.
Oh, New Jersey and Delaware do it, but they need to do a pilot program in Pennsylvania, make sure they can control that.
The Philadelphia DA said every law enforcement officer in the country should wear a body camera.
That they can't turn on and off, that a third party gets at the end of their shift. They never get to see it. They don't get to access it, rewind it, watch it later. And the camera doesn't just point outwards from their eyes, it points downwards so we can see their hands. Because they're planting drugs on people with body cams on. They're lying, cheating, stealing, raping, and murdering with body cameras on. Literally raping people with a body camera on.
For the protection of officers and civilians.
Oh, for the protection of officers, she said? Is that what she said?
All law enforcement agencies. The Philadelphia DA said every law enforcement officer in
Don't call them law enforcers. They're supposed to be rights protectors and peace officers.
the country should wear a body camera for the protection of officers.
Wow. So remember I said the DA is a scum-sucking pig, and behind every bad pig is a bad pig DA? I'm not going to interrupt this again. Listen to what she says about what the DA says. Listen to what he lists first in what the body cams are for. Listen to what his first priority is, the money for him. Listen.
Require body-worn cameras for all law enforcement agencies. The Philadelphia DA said every law enforcement officer in the country should wear a body camera for the protection of officers and civilians.
Oh, for the protection of officers. Showed your cards, bro. You work for them. You're not on our side at all whatsoever. She's not even kind of on our side. She is not even sort of on our side. She is a scum-sucking, pig-sucking supporter. She's a state-run media operative. The media's on their side. The governor's on their side. The DA's on their side. The prosecutor's on their side. The only thing that will change this is when a peon is governor and they change it from the top down. You graduated from peace officer school, peace officer standard and training, your uniform will say peace officer on it. We will not have you with all those guns because you guys are running up, pulling your guns, and you're killing people constantly, and we're watching it. Now, let's watch the Anthony Allegrini murder. Watch him roll around on the ground after they shot him and left him there.
There's new information in a fatal shooting involving Pennsylvania State Police. Troopers shot and killed an 18-year-old along I-95 in Philadelphia over the weekend. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Alicia Roberts has the developments.
Car meet mayhem. Hundreds gathered.
Look how they start off with, this is such state-run media crap. Listen to how they start off. They frame Anthony Allegrini as though he's one of the leaders of this car racing gang.
Car meet mayhem.
Car meet mayhem. And it's Anthony's fault.
Hundreds gathered at 5 different locations Saturday night into Sunday morning.
Hundreds gathered. That means you didn't have to kill Anthony. You could have let him go. You're not going to get everybody. Just leave them alone. Or maybe opening up a place where they can do their car racing and it can be sanctioned. Imagine that.
Taking over intersections, blocking traffic, and doing donuts and drifting along city streets. This is video from Bustleton and Philmont Avenues in the Northeast.
Property was destroyed.
Starts off with the wheels screeching. Mayhem, chaos, 5 different locations. They shut down traffic. Starts off with property was being destroyed. She starts off with, here's the reason why this guy had to die. Property was being destroyed. She starts off with it. She can't help but be the pig she is.
Video from Bustleton.
I thought this was about a kid who got murdered. And they make it about the crime that Anthony did, which he wasn't a part of doing a crime.
In Philmont Avenues in the Northeast.
Property was destroyed. Officers and civilians were assaulted.
Officers and civilians were assaulted. Really? You believe that? Put a 1 in the chat if she's a lying pig. Officers and civilians were not assaulted. Were there injuries? Did people get hurt during the street racing stuff? I'll bet it could have happened. Did they create a sanctioned area on a racetrack that's flat pavement so the kids could just go there, check their car in, sign an insurance waiver, and then go out and let them do what they want? This is what kids want to do all over the country. This isn't isolated to Pennsylvania or Philadelphia. This is not an isolated place where they only want this to happen. This is going on all over the country. In LA, in Las Vegas, in Phoenix, everywhere you go, you can see it on YouTube. Put it in there, car racing, and you'll see it in all over every city in America. So then why doesn't the government adhere to what we want to do? People want to spin Brodies in their car and take off and do smokies, and everybody's filming it, and it creates a social circle so everybody comes around. So why doesn't one governor from one state say, hey, I've allocated 12 different places where we flattened out the pavement. It's perfectly flat pavement. We spent tens of thousands of dollars to do this. If you want to street race, you want to race other cars, you got to sign a waiver. And then you can go ahead and street race. Why don't they do that? It's all over the country, y'all. It's not this place. And then you notice they're not talking about the kid they shot and murdered. They're talking about
East. Property was destroyed. Officers and civilians were assaulted, and countless individuals had their lives put at risk because of the behavior that we witnessed.
The
chaos, the state-run media reporter starts with. They've listed all these things that are so terrible that's happening. No real remedy for it because people are going to continue to do it. We just kill you. And then here's the reasons why you die.
Officers and civilians were assaulted.
That's not true.
And countless individuals had their lives put at risk because of the behavior that we witnessed.
No.
The chaos ended on the
freedom is dangerous.
Shoulder of I-95 near Penn's Landing, where Pennsylvania state troopers shot and killed 18-year-old.
You know, I showed Takaya Young yesterday, 21-year-old black woman. She's really a pretty lady if you see pictures of her. Could you imagine taking a look at this kid? Could you even imagine taking a look at this kid in a car, and he's driving away nice and slow. You're walking up to the car, and he's like, no, I'm going to go. And he goes, and the cops are on both corners of the car. Just so you know, I've watched a lot of videos on this. All the witnesses are saying the cops were on the side of the car. They easily could have got out of the way, but they didn't want to do that. They forced him to stay there. They had guns already drawn. Could you imagine yourself looking at this kid, aiming your gun at him, and shooting him because he won't stop his car? And there's all these cars racing around doing Brodies, but this kid won't stop his car, so I'm going to kill his ass. I hope they pay. I hope they pay. I hope the shooter burns in hell. God forgive me for it, but that's how I feel. I'm human. I don't have the same grace that God does. I hope you burn in hell for what you did. I do. I hope the devil puts his pitchfork in your ass.
Anthony Allegrini Jr. of Glen Mills. Investigators allege Allegrini failed to yield in his Audi and struck 2 troopers.
He failed to yield? Pull up the Pennsylvania code. Let's show the code that Anthony did not follow. He didn't follow this Pennsylvania code. You know what I'm saying? They told him to stop. Okay? They had their guns on him and told him to stop. They could have moved out of the way, but they told him. Anthony didn't stop, and now he's in heaven. You better stop when I tell you stop next time.
One trooper then discharged his service pistol through the front windshield and struck Allegrini, who was seated in the driver's seat.
Okay, so that's at 105. He pulled his pistol out, aimed at this kid, and shot him. He pulled out his gun, aimed at this young man, and shot him at point blank range. At point blank range. I mean, just for a moment, just try to picture yourself. Guy's pulling away in his car. You look at him and you go, F it. F around and find out. Blap, blap, blap. You shoot him. Imagine what kind of psycho frickin' pig do you have to be to shoot a kid at point blank range because he won't stop his car. And then to have the audacity to lie in the police report and say that he struck me with his car. I'll show you in press text. It's all written in text because they don't say it out loud on video. Multiple witnesses said he was going tiny, just barely moving the car, just pulling the car out, trying to leave the event because it wasn't a... Look at this baby. Look at him.
Anthony Allegrini Jr. of Glen Mills. Investigators allege Allegrini failed to yield in his Audi and struck 2 troopers.
One trooper then discharged his service pistol through the front windshield and struck Allegrini, who was seated in the driver's seat. Allegrini was pronounced dead on the scene by the Philadelphia Fire Department medics. The 2 troopers suffered minor injuries.
No, they didn't.
During a news conference, police announced 1 arrest, but warned more are expected.
Those involved need to be held accountable.
As prosecutors promised...
What? What did she just say?
Minor injuries.
During a news conference,
Need to be held accountable.
1 arrest, but warned more are expected.
Now listen to this. Listen to this. This is unbelievable. You rat, jackboot, thug, pig. I hope you get yours, lady. I hope you get yours. Karma is revenge without the satisfaction of being there. I hope you get yours. I hope you get yours. I hope God snatches your tongue. I cast spells and demons upon you now, you evil woman. You're evil, lady. Listen to this.
Those involved need to be held accountable.
Yes, they do. The murdering pigs who shot an 18-year-old kid from 6 inches away should be put in a dungeon for the rest of their life.
Prosecutors promise transparency.
What?
Involved need to be held accountable.
As prosecutors promise transparency.
Oh, they promise transparency as they try to get the people who were street racing for the cops murdering somebody. More people are going to be arrested for that street racing. Forget about the murder of the pigs. Don't let that sway you. Go over there. Don't look over here. Look at the street racers who did this to Anthony. Don't you think about the pigs that murdered. We're going to be totally transparent. We're going to investigate ourselves, or the prosecutor's office, who works hand in hand with us day in and day out. The prosecutor's office is going to investigate us, and then they're not going to convene a grand jury. No individual 6 people will get to sit up there and look at the facts and decide if there should be a murder trial or not. No, the prosecutor will decide, who works hand in hand with cops every day. Don't look at what they did. Look at the street racers and what they did.
We will do whatever we can to get the truth.
It comes as an attorney for the Allegrini family says they are opening their own investigation.
Exactly, my friends. Listen to me and listen well. When the cops murder your loved one, do not rely on the cops to investigate. Just like I told Lainey Hudson's parents, Lainey, Jesse, and the mom, I forgot the mom's name, Lainey Hudson, when that pig ran over her daughter, Jeff Racer Jr. in Ashland, Kentucky, I told them, don't wait. Go up and down the street where she was murdered and get the Ring cameras. Go up and down the street, go to the businesses where Jeff Racer Jr. was getting drunk with his mistress, and get the camera footage that shows him drinking. Get his receipts for the bill that he paid. Or he's a pig. He may have tried to got off for free because he was a pig, and they all try to suck off people because they're parasites overall. Yeah, they opened their own investigation. I'm advising you now. I'm advising you right now. You open your own investigation as well. Get over there to Dragnet Transparency and subscribe to my friend. She puts out the body cam footage. They demonetize her and delete her channel all the time. This is her 3rd channel that we've built up. This is her 3rd channel that we have built up. So get over to Dragnet Transparency and subscribe, because this woman right here shows the body cam footage that they don't want you to see. They've deleted her entire channel 3 times that I know of, that I helped her rebuild.
It's a state police's use of force.
You're dealing with someone that wasn't a racer. You're dealing with somebody that was not making burnouts or blocking up 95. He was simply a spectator. And as these races go, there are plenty and thousands of spectators.
Philadelphia's police.
So hold on a minute. Did you hear everything he just said is what the media should have said from the beginning? Have we heard one inkling of that from the media? On all the state-run media reports so far that you've heard, have you heard even an inkling of that? Even a mention? Even a drop that he wasn't a street racer? That he wasn't involved in any of that? They had to hire their own attorney and do their own independent investigation, and then the media ran a clip of him saying that he wasn't involved in street racing, he wasn't a part of any of those things. And now the state-run media operative, I'm going to bet my life that she's going to go right back to the Anthony was a street racer. I'm just betting. I don't know.
Police commissioner says detectives are continuing to use social media to identify when and where gatherings will happen. She says
she immediately turned it back to the street racers. She didn't say, did you hear that? They're saying he wasn't a part of this at all. She didn't skip a beat. She immediately went back to blaming the street racers. It is not the street racers' fault. This is what the people want to do. This is what the people want to do for fun. Then open up a sanctioned, flat, concrete area, have them sign a waiver that they're risking their own life. Lots of people will sign up. Lots of people. Let them. Let them. Freedom's dangerous. Let them do what they want. Put them in a safe arena. Put the spectators back here. Let them do what they want. Let the people live. Just back to this. He says, let's listen to his whole thing, and then immediately listen to how she then will twist this to be about street racing. What a sick, sick media we have. What a sick media. It's state-run media operatives. She doesn't mention what the lawyer says. She skips it. She skips it. She skips the whole thing. Not one. I'm going to have frickin' roid rage in a second. My God. What's wrong with these people? They're evil. This is just. Listen to what she says and listen to what the state-run media says. Listen to what the state-run media says. This is unfrickin' believable.
Can to get the truth.
It comes.
Oh, and then if he says the truth, then we're going to believe him now all of a sudden. Now he's a good guy on the side of the people. The truth. We're going to get the truth Because he said it like that. Now we believe you, Governor. So now I'm not going to interrupt this. I'm going to shut up for 30 seconds. So my brain doesn't have a hemorrhage here. Okay. And he's going to say that Anthony was not a part of street racing, and then watch the reply to this by the state-run media operative working for the pigs. Watch the reply. Listen to the commentary.
An attorney for the Allegrini family says they are opening their own investigation into state police's use of force.
You're dealing with someone that wasn't a racer. You're dealing with somebody that was not making burnouts or blocking up 95. He was simply a spectator. And as these races go, there are plenty and thousands of spectators.
Philadelphia's police commissioner says detectives are continuing to use social media to identify when and where gatherings will happen. She says they were able to prevent 2 additional meetups from forming on Sunday alone. Alicia Roberts, CBS News, Philadelphia.
The cops saved the day. Did you catch it? Did you catch it? At the end of the day, the cops are saving people. Did you catch it?
And where gatherings will happen. She says they were able to prevent 2 additional meetups from forming on Sunday. And she says they were able to prevent 2 additional meetups from forming. Commissioner says detectives are continuing to use social media to identify when and where gatherings will happen. She says they were able to prevent 2 additional meetups from forming on Sunday alone. Alicia Roberts, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Well, Alicia.
Sunday.
Alicia Roberts, CBS. You know what I'm doing now? Just so you guys know, you know what I'm doing? Now I'm going to their Instagrams. Do you know that? Let me tell you how. Let me tell you how dedicated I am to Alicia Roberts. Let me tell you how dedicated I am. Where's my phone? Let me tell you how dedicated I am. Let me tell you how dedicated I am here. Instagram. Where is she? Alicia Roberts News. I can't do it with you guys on the phone, but what I'm doing is I'm tracking down their Twitters and tracking down their Instagram accounts. And then I go onto there and I say, how come you didn't talk about what the lawyer said? Why didn't you mention that the lawyer said that Anthony wasn't a part of street racing? He wasn't a part of burnouts. He wasn't a part of breaking the law. He was just down there spectating like hundreds of others. Why didn't Alicia Roberts comment on that? That's what I'm doing now. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. Because she's the devil. She's Satan. She's evil. She's one of the devil's demons. She's one of the devil's demons. You see her? She's evil. She's as evil as the pig who murdered. She shifted the narrative completely to, it's the street racers and we're shutting them down now. The cops are saving people by shutting them down. Chaos, danger, hundreds of people in harm's way. She's shifting the narrative. She's a lying, scum-sucking pig. She's a lying lick booter. She's a lying bootlicker. She's a lying bootlicker. I mean, am I incorrect about this? So I want to show you guys one more page here real quick. I'm going to show you guys this now. Here is the, and I'm going to take a break here, okay? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to shut the flock up. Okay?
Penn's Landing.
I'm going to shut the front door here for a second. I'm going to shut the front door. I'm going to try to. I'm going to have a freaking stroke. Like, for the love of God, please don't have a stroke because it just makes me so mad. Watching this stuff, watching the state-run media do the lies, watching the DA do the lies, watching the governor do the lies. They're all lying to us. It takes a governor at the top of a state to change it from the top down. They show the governor because that's the most powerful person in that state by a mile. It takes one governor in one state to change everything. All right, I'm going to try to shut the front door. And I want you guys, I may pause it every once in a while, but I'm going to let you guys watch this. I'm going to try to shut up. Watch how this pig spins everything. Watch how this pig does everything he can to mislead you and lie to you and twist up the whole narrative. He's such a dirty pig. So you want to know how they look? That's how they look. Take a look. Take a look. They look so clean. They look clean. See them? It's really hard for me to talk about here. You know, we murdered somebody. And, you know, listen, I guarantee you what did not happen is Anthony did not stop the car and invoke his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent immediately. If Anthony had stopped the car and when the cops told him to, put his hands in touchdown position, he already had his camera out, and then immediately invoked his Fifth Amendment right, we wouldn't even be talking about him right now. You should have a trifold in every car you have. You should teach your kids, teach your mom, teach your dad. Don't ask him, do you know why I pulled you over? Who cares? You know how fast you were going? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Do you know why I pulled you over? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Don't ask him why he pulled you over. They're walking up now and they're telling you, oh, you violated code 720 where you made this turn over here. Where are you heading? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. You've got to have a trifold in every car. The $9 one, everybody here can afford $9. You print one out for every car, for every cousin, brother, best friend, lover you have. And you give me $9. You don't have $9? I'll give it to you for free. You have one in every single car. It's $9. Go now to my website, Delete Laws, and get one. You don't have $9? Email me now, deletelaws@gmail. Say, I don't have $9, but I have a car. Okay, fine, dude. I don't care. If you say you'll use it, I'll give it to you for free, bro. No charge. None. Zero. I'll email it to you for nothing. There it is. Invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent immediately. Cop says to stop the car. Do it. 1 second, copper. Boom. What are you doing down here at the street races? License and registration. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Here's my license, registration, and proof of insurance. Do we have something? That's it. What are you doing? You down here street racing? I just told you I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Now I'm going to talk to the camera. Your Honor, I just told him I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. He's now in violation of my constitutional rights, which goes around as qualified immunity. Your Honor, I just told him I pled the Fifth Amendment. Let me tell him one more time because he's a dumb shit pig. Hey, pig, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Your Honor, did you just hear that? That's for the lawsuit that goes around your qualified immunity. Now get the flock away from my car or give me a ticket. Step out of the car. They put you in torture cuffs. Fine. Say not a word. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent is the only words you're ever going to tell a pig. Cope Doggy Dog is in the hizzy at 420. What's up, Cope Doggy Dog? What is going on? That is my main man right there. What's going on? What's going on? God, I love you guys, man. I love you guys. Some of you guys been around here since the very beginning. Katie and Chevy. All right, let's listen to the ongoing lying pig. And I'm going to check my text messages to see if Rights On has sent me any other video links that I need to show. We're going to try to sit through this. I'm going to try not to interrupt it, but in the very first minute, he starts his lying bullshit. In the very first minute, he starts it. So I'm going to let him lie to you for a minute. I'll interrupt him in a second. So get ready to hear some lies. Here it is.
On June 4th, 2023, at approximately 03:24 hours,
that's the only truth he's going to tell. Date and time.
Pennsylvania State Police in Philadelphia were dispatched to I-95 in the area of Penn's Landing for numerous vehicles and pedestrians illegally blocking the highway for a car meetup. The vehicles were reported to be racing and doing burnouts and drifting. There were also reports of shots fired, with that information being related to those responding. Similar incidents have been reported earlier in the evening with the Pennsylvania State Police requested to assist. To expound on that, we had been receiving emails from the Philadelphia Office of Emergency Management, keeping us informed of what was occurring on the surface streets within the city, starting probably a little bit before midnight. Upon arrival, troopers found a significant number of vehicles illegally blocking the lanes, engaged in activity previously described, and numerous pedestrians outside of their vehicles spectating. Two of our members observed an Audi, black Audi S4 parked on the.
So he starts with the BS about how people are racing, and now he's going to blame Anthony for being there.
Shoulder of I-95 with its license plate completely obscured. 4 subjects then approached the vehicle and entered it. Troopers positioned their vehicle in front of the Audi and exited their vehicle on foot. While on foot, the operator of the Audi, later identified as Anthony Allegrini, Jr., 18 years of age from Delaware County, Pennsylvania, failed to yield and struck the 2 troopers. One trooper then discharged his service pistol through the front windshield and struck Allegrini, who was seated in the driver's seat. Allegrini was pronounced dead on the scene by the Philadelphia Fire Department medics. The two troopers suffered minor injuries. The recklessness of these car meetups and the risk they pose to those involved, as well as those who happen to come upon them, especially on I-95, one of the most traveled roadways within the Commonwealth, cannot be underestimated. We make traffic stops on these roadways and block lanes of travel on a daily basis. We use special equipment and vehicles, emergency lighting and message boards to do so safely. Yet with all this available to us, less than 18 months ago, two troopers were killed on this very roadway just a few miles away from where this occurred.
Oh, well, there it is.
We've had countless troopers injured
I'm so
as
sorry,
a result
y'all.
of them,
I'm so
of them or their vehicles.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
To us, less than 18 months ago, two troopers were.
Oh man, here it is. Here's the justification. Listen to it.
Daily basis. We use special equipment and vehicles, emergency lighting and message boards to do so safely. Yet with all this available to us, less than 18 months ago, two troopers were killed on this very roadway just a few miles away from where this occurred.
Oh, man, you know what? There it is right there. Two troopers were killed. We know that they're a protected class. We know that they're the sovereign citizens, that they're the freedom. We know that they're the law enforcers in our country, and with all the technologies they have.
Less emergencies within the Commonwealth cannot be underestimated.
Don't underestimate the problem.
Traffic stops on these roadways.
We make traffic stops on these roadways, and it's not making a damn bit of difference. We're just going to keep on stealing your money because we're road pirates.
And block lanes of travel on a daily basis.
They block lanes of traffic on a daily basis. They're policing the hell out of us, and it's not going well.
Use special equipment and vehicles.
Special equipment they have.
Emergency lighting and message boards.
Emergency lighting and message boards.
To do so safely. Yet with all this available to us, less than 18 months ago, two troopers were killed on this very roadway just a few miles away from where
with all the things we're doing, yet still cops are dying. Cops are dying. Everybody be alarmed. Cops are dying.
This occurred.
I made it the first minute, and I shut the front door the first minute. It's the way he spins you to redirect your focus on what matters to them is that cops are dying. The cops are dying.
We've had countless troopers injured as a result of them or their vehicles being struck while handling incidents on the highway. These groups just stop their vehicles with hazard flashers on or strobes and hope for the best while trapping innocent families and bystanders on the highway in the line of danger.
Forget that we killed Anthony. Forget that cops walked up to him and shot an 18-year-old kid from 6 inches away, point blank. Forget that. Traffic was backed up, causing a danger for others. You killed a dude. You murdered him. You are the danger. You are the fear. You are the darkness. You are the demon. You are the evil. You are the bad guy. Why do you think there's 500 plus people sitting here watching this right now? Why do you think there's over 500 people here watching? I'm barely likable. I'm such a prick. It's unbelievable. They're not here because I'm the most award-winning personality on the planet. They're here because I'm brave enough to point out that you're a jackboot thug pig up there redirecting our attention from the murder you pigs did.
People who could be traveling from as far away as Maine or Florida, or from one area of Philadelphia to another.
Man, from Maine to Florida, all over the world, people are in danger because of this. So we're saving the day.
It would just take one intoxicated or distracted driver to be traveling on the roadway for a tragedy to occur.
It would just take one drunk person, so we need to stop everybody through our Nazi checkpoints.
Similar to what we experienced in March of 2022.
Go back to March of 2022. You remember that? Remember the death? Remember the people dying? Don't think about the murder.
However, this is just another example of the lawless culture, which has become the norm for the people traveling on our roadways.
This has become the norm for the lawless culture. So all the stuff you're doing to us isn't working, is what you're saying. It's a lawless roadway? Okay. Then everything you're doing, blocking lanes, the lightning signs, all that stuff you said, all the technology, you're not doing a damn bit of good. You just admitted it.
On almost a daily basis, we people fail to yield to police and flee from traffic stops.
Bro, we're here to talk about your pigs murdering Anthony. We're here to talk about that. What are you talking about right now? Every day people flee from traffic stops. You're pulling over too many people, harassing and fining the hell out of us so we can't function. Once the pyramid cycle starts where you stack one on top of the next, license is suspended, then a driving on license, suspend a license, then another fee. I got to go to work. You get pulled over. Now your car's impounded. Now you go to jail. You're doing it. You're causing the police state, prison state. The reason why people drive away is because they can't afford the next ticket and they don't want to go to the dungeon at all costs where they're willing to chance running.
And they do so for various reasons, as minor as to avoid a summary traffic violation ticket or reasons as serious as felony criminal offense.
They do it because they don't want to deal with you jackboot thug pigs. That it's such a horrible interaction that a prick like me could become as popular as I am.
There is a run-first mindset which places those fleeing and those on the roadway at risk. We've also experienced an uptick in shootings on the highways.
Oh, man! Not the shooting here with Anthony getting shot. There's shootings on the highway. This whole thing is horrible.
In 2022, we investigated more than
Going back to 2022, look at all the death and destruction that we investigated.
times the amount of shootings we investigated in 2021, with 2023 on pace to break that mark. If this culmination of behaviors continues, those involved, as well as those who are unfortunately in the presence of it, will continue to be put at risk. As an agency, we will continue to do our best to ensure the safety and well-being of all those who we encounter and those affected by their actions.
What the fuck did he just say? What the fuck?
If this culmination of behaviors continues, those involved, as well as those who are unfortunately in the presence of it, will continue to be put at risk.
By you. You're the danger. You went to the scene and you murdered an 18-year-old kid. Your cop shot him from here to there.
As an agency, we will continue to do our best to ensure the safety and well-being of all those who we encounter and those affected by their actions.
I can't believe he just sat there and said that. I can't believe he just said
to ensure the safety and well-being of all those who we encounter and those affected by. Continue to do our best to ensure the safety and well-being of all those who we encounter and those affected by their actions. Please let me take this opportunity to thank the Philadelphia Police Department
You came on here thanking pigs? You came on here thanking pigs, bro?
For their continued support, not only during this incident yesterday, but during our daily operations. And to the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office for their assistance as
to the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, he wants to thank them for not charging his cop.
We investigate this incident.
Look at this guy's so constipated he can barely take a dump. Take a look at him. Let me open the screen big so you guys can see it. This guy can't even take a dump. He can't. Metamucil, bro. Get some Metamucil. Check him out. Ready? You ready for this?
And to the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office for their assistance as we investigate this incident.
He can't even take a dump, dude. This guy's so constipated. He walks around. His hemorrhoids are killing him every day.
I'm going to turn it over to the District Attorney, Larry Preston.
Are you going to answer questions at some point, sir?
At the end.
He said, are you going to answer questions at some point?
I'm going to turn it over to the District Attorney, Larry Preston.
Are you going to answer questions at some point, sir?
At the end, sir.
At the end, yeah. Now here comes the DA. This guy's gonna sit up here and tell you how he's not working with the pigs. He's not on their side. He's gonna find the truth. It's all lies.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. Standing with me today are two members of the DA's Special Investigations Unit. One is Vinny Corrigan, who is probably known to many of you. We also have Josh Barnett. Mr. Barnett was actually on the scene fulfilling one of our most important obligations. And that obligation is to independently investigate officer-involved shootings of different...
You have a pig investigating another pig. And this guy's going to sit here with a straight face and say that bullshit.
Is to independently investigate officer-involved shootings of different types.
Are
We stand
you
here, number one, grateful to the state police and to PPD.
We stand here grateful to the pigs. That is insane. The coppers thank the prosecutor's office. Now the prosecutor's thanking the coppers.
For our continuing partnership as we try to address a lot of different public safety issues.
We are not on the same team at all. He's on their team and they're against us.
That we face in Philadelphia and in this area. But we also stand here in our capacity as independent investigators.
Okay, listen, part of the reason why I became a public known person, the why I started to do what I do publicly, is for this reason exactly. There's things, I have a dang near photographic memory. When I hear something, I remember it. When I hear something, I'm able to break it down very quickly, analytically. So I want you to go back, and I'm going to go back 15 seconds here, and I want you to listen to what he's going to say. We're in a partnership, but I want you to also know we're also independent.
Number one, grateful to the state police and to PPD for our continuing partnership as we try to address a lot of different public safety issues that we face in Philadelphia and in this area. But we also stand here in our capacity as independent investigators of what occurred. Let me reiterate, we are grateful for the cooperation that we have received and will be receiving in the future, both from the state police and also from PPD, for one simple reason. The truth matters. The truth matters. We don't know all the details yet. We won't know them until we have all available information.
Okay. The only thing that matters to him is protecting the thin blue line. The only thing that matters to him is that the cops don't turn against him. Because if a DA, a prosecutor, assistant prosecutor, if any of them ever turn against the police and in any way, shape, or form show them that they're going to persecute or prosecute one of the police who have killed somebody, then what happened to that district attorney, prosecutor, assistant attorney is the Fraternal Order of Police will fund and pay for off-duty cops to track that DA, to track that prosecutor, to investigate them. They will hire private investigators to investigate the DA, follow them around, and then they'll find the mistress that this guy has. They'll find the illegitimate kid. Or they'll follow him to the bar when he's drunk driving, and the off-duty cop will radio to the cop and say, he's leaving the bar now. He gets pulled over. If you get pulled over by the cop, if you get pulled over by the police leaving a bar, and you are a prosecutor who is prosecuting one of the police, you're going to jail for DUI. Or the cop's going to say, oh, you've been drinking? No? Okay, cool. All right, I don't think you're drunk. I don't think there's any reason to go any further tonight. I'm going to let you go. Have a good night, prosecutor. And he walks off, letting the prosecutor know. And what does the prosecutor do when he goes home? They had me. He had me. I was drunk. He had me. He called me prosecutor. He called me prosecutor as his hands are shaking. Then he gets a phone call and they say, hey, heard you running around of our officers last night. It's a courtesy call to let you know that I'm glad nothing happened and that you were sober. That's what they do. Notice how grateful and thankful and hopeful and we're in a partnership together this jackboot thug pig prosecutor is. Notice it. Because he cannot cross them and do anything on the other side of the line. There'll be around the clock surveillance on him.
That additional video, and we ask anyone out there who has additional video, please come forward with it so we can see it. Or be that additional witnesses, forensics, that we will need. There will come a time.
So remember what I said earlier, that Eric Garner was murdered in New York City and millions saw it. There were protests around the world. And the only person who went to jail for that was the person who turned in the camera footage.
When we know what happened And whatever flows from that or does not flow from that will be based on the truth. I don't know that there's anything more important in a situation like this.
Yes, you do.
Than everyone involved and everyone uninvolved understanding that we will do whatever we can to get the truth.
No, you won't.
That any legal consequence, if there is any legal consequence in civil.
If there is. Are you going to convene a grand jury? That's the question. Are you going to convene a grand jury of six people to look at this independently?
Court or in criminal court will flow from what the truth is. Now, unfortunately, that means that in the middle of an investigation that needs to have integrity, we cannot talk too much about what we know so far because it's incomplete. There are a lot of things and a lot of people that have to be communicating with us before we will know more. So I'm going to respectfully ask all of you to...
Respectfully? Is he that respectful? Is he persecuting and prosecuting you and your loved ones? Is it respectful then?
Understand, it's not that we don't want to say more.
No, it's that you're going to do what's called the blue wall of silence. It's in the 1994 Mullen Commission. That the district attorneys are just as complicit as the cops are.
It's that it would be harmful to the integrity of this investigation if we...
Integrity, you don't have any. Your job is to protect the thin blue line and protect your partners. You called it yourself. They're your partners. You thank them all. Deep debt of gratitude and thanks to the police is what you said.
We said more without having the full universe of information.
The full universe of information. And then after we have the full universe, we're going to explain away why this had to happen.
And without having carefully evaluated it every way that we can. I have worked and partnered with PSP for quite some time. Among other things, we have a very interesting history of state police solving some closed homicides through some amazing work that was done decades after the homicides occurred. And when we saw the truth there...
Let me just tell you what he just did. He went back to a murder that the police solved. Listen carefully what he says here.
I have worked and partnered with PSP.
With the police.
For quite some time.
For a long time. They've been partners, the police and him.
Among other things, we have a very interesting history of state police solving some closed homicides.
State police are solving closed murder investigations. They have a close relationship. He's saying it right in front of you. You're listening. We have a long history. And now let me tell you how great they are. They're solving homicides. Bro, that ship has sailed. It is long gone. We don't believe you. He's selling you right now how state police are solving old homicides. Why weren't they solved when they were new?
Through some amazing work.
Through some amazing work. They weren't solved when they were new because there's no money in it for them. There's money in sitting on the side of the road.
That was done decades after the homicides occurred.
I mean, what the fluck are you even talking about? I haven't heard Anthony Allegrini's name mentioned once. I haven't heard anything. I've heard about street racing and I've heard about how the police are amazing. They have a long history. We're partners, but we're independent. I'm grateful and thankful to the police is what he said. We're partners, but we're not. We're independent. I haven't heard Anthony's name mentioned once, and both of them gave their big speeches. Neither one of them mentioned Anthony Allegrini. That's why the press conference is going on. Neither one have mentioned the cop that murdered an 18-year-old kid this far away, shot him from this far away. Are you going to talk about Anthony ever?
And when we saw the truth there, we were ready, willing, and able to prosecute, and we did, based upon that information.
We're taking on murder cases. Well, then take on the murder case in front of you.
I have had, in my opinion, an excellent partnership with our police commissioner in terms of many different issues that the city confronts and that PPD confronts. My heart goes out
you gonna mention his
to
name?
law enforcement when they try to wrap their arms.
His heart goes out to law enforcement. What a total police state that place is. And the title of it doesn't say Anthony Allegrini is shot. It says Philadelphia State Police officials give update on deadly I-95 shooting.
Around drifting, around street racing.
Wow.
Around these substantial challenges.
Wow.
Where
Validating.
the tools in their toolbox
we had to kill this kid.
Have to be used so carefully because there's such a danger.
Such a danger by Anthony Allegrini.
That things could get even worse.
That things could get even worse for you good people. For you, the good people. They're not the street racers like Anthony was.
If they simply engage in pursuits of vehicles. So I know what they're up against. We've been on these calls collectively now for a few years.
So he's working together with them, and Anthony Allegrini was a dirty street racer doing burnouts. His girlfriend said they had to do burnouts. Didn't that what she said? People are doing burnouts. She didn't say Anthony wasn't doing burnouts, but she said they did burnouts. I didn't know what she meant by that. Was Anthony doing burnouts? Making it dangerous.
They're up against a lot. They do everything they can to.
He's just defending the cops.
Make the streets safer. And anybody who's thinking about street racing or
I want to vomit.
Drifting, you got to cut it out.
Don't talk about the murder.
If you come to my attention, you're going to be in a jail cell.
What about the cop that murdered the 18-year-old kid, shot him from foot away? What about that?
If you don't cut it out, you're going to be dealing with the consequences of what you do. And I say that on the general topic of people who are violating the law on the streets in vehicles of all types. You've got to cut it out. But separate and apart from that, I'm grateful for the partnership that we've had with PPD and also with PSP in terms of other issues, and I look forward to their assistance as we do everything in our power to get at the truth, to restore the public trust so that everyone involved directly and everyone who is interested knows they got the truth.
Everyone who's interested? I'm pretty interested in cops shooting people from a foot away because they don't want to stop for the pigs. And they're not trying to hit the pigs. They just want to drive away and not deal with pigs because pigs have a reputation of being pigs. Putting you in pig cuffs, torture cuffs, taking you into the torture mobile, or they take you to the dungeon. So he didn't want to deal with the pigs. Just wanted to drive away. He was driving away at 1 mile an hour, 2 miles an hour, and the pig shot him. Are they ever going to talk about that? We are 8.5 minutes into the press conference. Not one mention of the murder.
And the legal consequences, if any,
he's just threatening people,
will flow from the truth.
Threatening.
It's my pleasure at this time to introduce our police commissioner, Daniel Outlaw.
It's going to be more pig sucking. Get ready. Get ready. He's going to justify away.
Good afternoon.
Oh, she's the worst. She's the worst. This is the worst one.
So I have quite a bit of information.
I didn't get through all of her. We're going to get through her together somehow. Because then I said, F it, I'm going live.
To cover. I won't take up all of the time, and then I guess we'll open it for questions.
And then I guess we'll open up for questions?
Cover. I won't take up all of the time, and then I guess we'll open it for questions.
I guess we'll open it up for questions. That's why everybody is assembled there. That's why freedom of the press is there. Assembly and press is in the same place in the First Amendment, and she guesses she'll take some questions at a press conference? Gosh, thanks so much, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
But let me start by saying it was already alluded to that the behavior that we saw over the weekend is not only unacceptable, but it will not be tolerated. The type of behavior exhibited at these car meets over the weekend were just outrageous, quite frankly.
What's outrageous is cops murdering people. That's what's outrageous. It's outrageous cops are walking to cars with their guns drawn. Freeze right there. What if they don't? You'll murder them. That has to stop. That's outrageous, honey. That's outrageous.
He was destroyed. Officers and civilians were assaulted.
Back to the same lies.
And countless individuals had their lives put at risk because of the behavior that we witnessed.
Not because the cops are walking around murdering people.
This past weekend, our department had assigned dozens of officers to 2 separate what we call car meet or ATV dirt bike details in our 2 regional operation commands, our Rock North and Rock South. The purpose of these details, or those details, is to focus on the large, dangerous vehicular gatherings that have been forming throughout.
And listen to how she just laces it with that. This is what these people want to do. We're not going to create a sanctioned way for them to do this. Forget that. They're making it dangerous and it is dangerous. Freedom is dangerous. To be free is dangerous. If the community's all gathering around, look, and there's two sides of the fence here. There's going to be some people who can't stand it and want to stop. It's dangerous and it scares them. I get it. So then there should be a sanctioned area that the city or county buys and says, go here, go have a good time. I hope you flip over and die. They do hope you flip over and die. So they can then shut it down and say, it's too dangerous. People died. People are going to die when they're free. Freedom is dangerous. To be free to do what you want with your muscle car is dangerous.
Our city that we typically know occurs when the weather gets warmer.
So if she knows it happens when the weather gets warmer, then create a space for them to do what they want.
And a key part of these programs is having our officers in our criminal intelligence unit glean data in order to learn of these events prior to their formation, which we have been pretty successful in doing in the past.
Did you hear what she said? Is she trying to sound smart?
Having our officers in our criminal intelligence unit.
Having our officers in our criminal intelligence unit
glean data in order to learn of these events.
Glean data? Honey, you're talking to a populace who's got like an 8th grade education at the best. And most have like a 4th or 5th grade education. Glean data
prior to their formation, which we have been pretty successful in doing in the past. Unfortunately, we know we cannot prevent all of them, or we don't always know about all of them in advance. And even when we have the information, sometimes it becomes a numbers game when safely stopping the events in their tracks is not immediately feasible due to the risks of officer and citizen safety, which
officer safety, she said first.
Is what was described previously. This weekend, there were several particular meetups that were highly concerning, and I'm just going to go through each one.
What about the cop who killed? This is where I lost my mind, started screaming, said it live, and said, let's talk about this live. What about the kid that was killed who was 18 years old, that has a mom and a dad and a girlfriend? What about him? What about the kid who was not involved in street racing, was just there as a spectator, probably filming and having fun with the other young kids who enjoy watching these things? What about that kid?
One of them with a little bit of detail. Shortly after 1 a.m. in the intersection of Bustleton Ave and Philmont Ave in the far northeast, motorists took over the intersection along with a crowd of hundreds of pedestrians. So you have vehicles and pedestrians. Officers from our car meet detail quickly arrived. However, dozens of individuals from the crowd began to throw objects at their vehicles, including bricks. Those officers had to retreat and await the arrival of additional officers to.
The public's going to revolt upon the sight of police. Call in the army. Call in the army. Don't let them disperse. Don't let the cops come in, go into the middle of the circle and stop it from happening. Don't do that. Instead, call in an army. Okay.
To assist in dispersing the crowd. Fortunately, our officers were uninjured in this incident. However, we have...
Fortunately, our officers were uninjured. You're at a press conference for a guy who's dead. There's not a press conference going on right now because there's street racing going on in the communities. That's not why there's a press conference going on right now. There wasn't a press conference last weekend or the weekend before that about street racing. There wasn't. There wasn't thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not soon to be millions of people interested in what happened to Anthony. That's not what this is about. This is about the kid who you murdered, lady. That's what we want to talk about here today. The reporters are there. The lying state-run media is there so that they have a scoop so you'll watch their advertising so they can sell you Pfizer.
Viewed multiple videos of this incident, one of which depicts a pedestrian being physically assaulted by participants of the event.
Yeah, when people get together, they're going to fist fight. I fist fought when I was that age too. 18, 25 years old, 16, 15, boys fist fight. Sucks. Some people get assaulted. Some people don't want to fight. Sometimes it's rough. The world's rough. You put a large gathering of people together, there will be a fight.
We believe that the offender in this incident was also involved in another meetup earlier that occurred at the Boulevard. And
she's focusing on the crime and how much crime there is. Remember, don't think about Anthony. Do not think about Anthony.
Torresdale Avenue.
Let me give you guys his YouTube
We are
page.
actively seeking a complainant on this assault, and we are working to identify the offender for his actions at both of these incidents. Next, around the same time, on the 500 block of Byberry Road, 7th District officers were responded to reports of a drag racing in the area.
Drag racing.
Upon arrival, there were several participating vehicles that were parked in a gas station at that location. As one officer pulled into the gas station, an operator of a Dodge Charger backed into his police car and then drove around several other responding police cars before fleeing into Montgomery County. Fortunately, there weren't any injuries to our officers. Later, at approximately
Fortunately, there was no injuries to her officers. This is pathetic. This is pathetic. This is the parents' page that they started because it's a brand new channel. Anthony Allegrini Jr. That's what their Facebook page looks like. Go over there and subscribe to their page. I'll drop it down in the comment section in a minute, but I wanted to show you guys they got their own page right there. So if you guys are so inclined, make sure you subscribe. Tell them Delete Laws sent you.
30 at Broad.
So she's once again. I'm sorry if you weren't keeping up. I was listening as I was finding that page. She said once again, thank God her officers were not injured.
In York Streets, officers responded to a report of gunshots and drag racers in the area. When they arrived, they came upon vehicles racing, with participants setting off fireworks in the vicinity. As the officers approached in their police vehicles, or RPCs, several individuals in the crowd began throwing flower pots and other debris at the officers, shattering the windshield of one of our vehicles.
Don't do that. Don't go to violence. We're going to beat them legally. We're going to beat them through the proper channels. We're going to beat them when I'm governor and I change one state from the top down, all the other states will change too. You'll see. When one state does something and does it amazing, the other states all copy. Look at medical marijuana.
Unfortunately, in that incident, no one was injured. The last incident I want to highlight was on the 2400 block.
This is the last incident she wants to highlight. You murdered an 18-year-old kid, honey.
North Broad at approximately 3 a.m. Calls were coming out in the area, and one of our car meet officers came upon an intoxicated male who was attempting to flee in his vehicle. As the officer attempted to investigate this male, the offender became irate and physically attacked our officer. Our officer was able to take him into custody, but suffered injuries during this attack.
Hold on a second. Do you believe her? Do you believe her? Do you believe her that someone put a 1 in the chat if you don't believe her, or the cop that someone attacked him? Put a 1 in the chat if you don't believe that. Just write the number 1. I don't believe her. Just put it. I don't believe her. Put a 1 in the chat. I don't believe her. I'm sorry. I'm not reading a lot of comments today because there's a lot of footage to go through. I want you guys to see how they're trying to shade and cover up this kid's murder, and I'm just not going to watch it happen. I'm gonna sit on here and we're gonna break it down.
Let me say this again. This is totally unacceptable, and I'm beyond sickened, and I'm outraged that
a member of her team was attacked.
So many people think that it's okay to partake in this type of criminal behavior.
I agree. Don't do it. Don't do it. Kant's theory. If it's okay for you to do it, it's okay for everybody to do it. And if everybody does it, then we live in a world of chaos. Don't attack the cops. Put it on film what they're doing. Show what they're doing to us. Eventually change will come because help is coming. We're not going to stop.
We all want to make very crystally clear. If anyone was participating in this activity, do not.
Now she's threatening people instead of talking about the kid that they shot and killed.
I think for one moment that you got away with it. We are not done.
Man, listen to this.
And that you not being held accountable is something that's going to continue. This is not over.
Wow. She's a psycho. Look at her. What a psycho.
Rest assured, there are cameras everywhere.
Yeah, that they have access to that we don't, which creates Big Brother.
There are mountains and mountains of evidence to go through, and we are going to use them. So if anyone has any information about what happened this past weekend or any upcoming similar events that we were, going to have throughout the summer anyway. So with the numbers that we had already, police department and other PDs across resources from other parts of the city, and that's what we had to do.
How many arrests, how many people were arrested at any of these parties?
This is DC Frank Benoit. He can get you that info.
Sure. As far as I'm concerned, the commissioner spoke about an individual arrested at the 2300 North Broad incident.
It's just almost impossible.
Thing that we have stand for.
I can't get to
Pronunciation and title.
Sure. Gerard McShay, Gerard, MC,
Are you ever going to talk about the kid that got shot?
Committee officer of Troop
Are
K.
you ever going to talk about?
If you can, and this, my question really speaks to a piece of video, cell phone video that's out there that the DA's office, I'm sure, is looking at as part of their investigation, that shows a car driving by the scene, the body.
Someone outside the vehicle?
Yes, and then a trooper at one point with his gun drawn, and
He
then
points his gun
to the
at
car passing by. In the video, we see, it appears to show the driver who was killed, Allegrini, laying down far away from his Audi and next to the state police
Cruiser.
Is that proper protocol when someone has been shot to be pulled out of the vehicle, to be unattended? Nobody appeared to be tending to him, and you could see his legs and arms moving up and down.
Okay, so let me stop right here before he starts to lie, and let me explain it to you. So in the name of officer safety from the 1968 holding of Terry versus Ohio, that allows police to create a detainment policy around detaining you. And detainment includes, even after you've been shot, that you need to be detained for officer safety. So what the cops likely did was put him in torture cuffs. He probably immediately went into torture cuffs. And we don't see that part. There is a clip. I'm sorry, I don't have it. I'll pull it up here as you guys are watching it, or someone can text it to me. But there is a clip of Anthony on the ground, shot. Looks like he's gut shot or chest shot. Like he's gasping, trying to get air. And as a car drives by, the trooper who shot him, the pig who shot him, points his gun at the guy driving by. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It is a clip of it. I didn't show it because I actually don't want my stream to get demonetized again. All my streams are demonetized. So it is what it is. So now, remember what I just said. Remember what I just said. Now listen to the pig and how he's going to spin his lies.
So as far as protocol, I mean, there are times when people are removed from a vehicle for treatment purposes. I can't get into this specific incident, so it would not be
No, tell them your protocol is to put people in torture cuffs to detain them even after they've been shot. Tell them your protocol.
Common for someone to be removed for treatment purposes. I understand.
No, not for treatment purposes, for detainment purposes, for Terry purposes, for Terry versus Ohio purposes, to put you in torture cuffs.
You said that was not in this one. It was not the case. It was not what was seen. Obviously I can't go into this one just because of the active investigation, but I will say we are collecting all this video surveillance or anything that's available to us. We have the one you're speaking about, maybe even different versions of the same thing that you have, but we're also collecting everything, things that occurred prior to that. So, I mean, we do welcome all video evidence with that. In regards to the trooper's actions, I can't speak to that. That'll come after the decision.
Sure, and I understand you can't talk specifics, but is it fair to say that troopers can render aid if someone is not deceased yet?
They absolutely can.
But they don't. They don't. That's not what they do first. And I've shown it on this channel. What they do first is put you in detainment, or their Terry policies that even if you're shot, you are to be detained. Detainment means you go in torture cuffs with your arms behind your back. So if you're shot in the chest or the stomach, you're going to curl up in a ball because you're shot. Their policy is to strap your arms behind your back in torture cuffs. So why is he sitting up here just lying? It's just driving me crazy. They're not going to render aid first. They're going to detain you first. That's their first policy. Detain you first. Somebody tell me I'm not telling the truth.
But then there's also circumstances you have to take into account, you know, the volatileness of the situation and what's going on around them. There is a total officer safety awareness and what...
There it is, folks. There it is.
They absolutely can. But then there's also circumstances you have to take into account, you know, the volatileness of the situation and what's going on around them. There is a total officer safety awareness and what, you know, is actually within those circumstances that you have to take into account. Again,
So real quick, everybody, where does that term officer safety come from? It comes from the 1968 holding called Terry versus Ohio, where they put officer safety first above your rights, that the cops can grab you and Terry stop you in the name of officer safety. The cop can be suspicious of you, drive his car up to you, get out of the car, and grab you immediately. Do you understand that? The cop can see you on the road and say, I'm suspicious of you, can then drive their car up to you with their lights on, jump out of their car, go running up and grab you and start patting you down for officer safety, to make sure that you don't have a weapon so you couldn't hurt them because they are suspicious of you. There was a robbery here the other day and the guy was wearing a green shirt, so you fit the description. That's what they're going to put in their report of why they ran up and Terry stopped you. And then they're going to ask you, did you rob the store the other day? Were you over here the other night? You are immediately going to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I don't know why this pig is sitting here just lying. Doesn't he know there's people who can break down every word he's saying? Lie after lie after lie.
I'm not going to go into specifics, but it does go beyond, you know, just rendering
It's about officer safety. It goes beyond just rendering aid. It goes for officer safety first.
aid. You know, you have to make sure everyone else is safe as well.
The cops are safe.
And what, you know, is actually within those circumstances that you have to take into account. Again, I'm not going to go into specifics, but it does go beyond, you know, just rendering aid. You know, you have to make sure everyone else is safe as well.
Captain, did he get out of the vehicle under his own power?
What's that?
Did he leave the
Can't
car?
speak about that, sir.
Can't tell you anything.
Is it on body worn?
We don't have body worn cameras, sir.
Captain, where were
We have dash cam.
where were the troopers struck? Where were they injured? You said there was minor injuries.
To the legs.
To the legs?
Legs.
Both of them.
Both.
To the legs. And that was how long after they arrived? You said it was 3:24 a.m.
Sorry, I don't know that specific.
He asked how long after the cops arrived were they injured by the car, and they said they were both injured. Both of their legs were injured. I can't wait to see the BS here.
Time.
So Allegrini drove into them.
Active investigation.
Snot. Did snot just shoot out my nose? Did you look at the smug ass look on his face? What can you guys see? Let me go to StreamYard. Sorry, let me open it big so you guys can see it. Look at the smug ass look on his face after he says under investigation. Watch.
Sorry, I don't know that specific time.
So Allegrini drove into them.
Active investigation.
Active investigation. He's off the question. Look at that. I answered it. It's an active investigation.
This car originally approached because of the tag, the unmarked.
So we haven't had a chance to interview the troopers at this point. You know, as part of our department, when you're involved in a serious incident like this, a critical incident, you're given administrative leave. Interviews are going to be scheduled to be done in the near future.
So they can go get their story straight. There's no third party investigating them. It's going to be cops investigating them from the same police department. Or they'll call in the super cops from Pennsylvania who are cops investigating cops.
So I can't speak as to exactly why they approached that vehicle.
But I can. The reason they approached the vehicle is because they wanted to shoot somebody. They walked up with their guns out. They were mad. They were street racing and they couldn't stop it. And people had thrown bricks at other police cars and potted plants and they were mad. So they walked up to this car with their guns drawn saying, not this mofo. He's not throwing stuff at us.
Was an ambulance called?
Excuse me?
Was an ambulance called? For
Yes, immediately.
And how long did it take for the ambulance?
I do not know. I apologize.
Commands given, can you say what the troopers were saying to trying to get the attention of the driver?
I cannot. Not with an active investigation.
When
1 second, please.
You want to see what a douchebag looks like? That's a douchebag. Just take him out of that uniform real quick, right? Just put him in a t-shirt, like a regular t-shirt, and a pair of shorts and some flip-flops. That's the dweeb walking around. That's a total dweeb. You are a beta male. You are a chump. Absolutely. Completely. Look at him. He's a dweeb. Just cover up the uniform, and just so you can see just the neck up on this chumpzilla. Just cover the uniform and look at his face. What a douche you are, bro. You're doucheroni, okay? Oh, you are. I mean, you remember the old cops and quiz. Make good looking models from who was that singer? Damn it, I used to. He sung. I can't even say the name of his album, but that's a douchebag right there, y'all. Welcome to Douchebag Central. That's a douchebag cop right there. Enjoy.
To shoot at a moving vehicle. When are they allowed to actually fire on a vehicle as they did in this instance, which you've told us?
When are they actually allowed to fire on a vehicle? Is what the reporter's asking douchebag.
There's no specific like protocol. I wouldn't say there's no specific regulation saying it, but if you're in the fear of death or bodily injury, or you believe somebody else that present on scene could be in fear or at risk of death or bodily injury.
Just in fear. He's clarifying it. If you're just in fear for your officer safety, that's the whole thing he's saying right now is fear for officer safety.
Injury.
That's why they have injuries on their legs, which they don't.
Deadly force would be.
There's already been witnesses who said that they don't have injuries, that they didn't get hurt.
Appropriate.
Going off that question, was Allegrini shot while driving?
Can't answer that due to the active investigation.
Can't answer that due to the active investigation because there's cameras that could. The video is going to refute what he says because he's a lying pig.
Were the troopers physically standing on the roadway, or were they in their vehicle when it was struck?
Outside of the vehicle, and on their feet.
And then injuries.
Can you detail the steps of the investigation and the rough timeline?
The timeline is tough. I mean, at this point, given all the cell phone footage and all the
I can't say anything because I can get caught in my lies.
Social media aspect of this, we are scrubbing the internet to get everything we can. Obviously, there's going to be videos popping up for weeks that are going to depict or may show something that may, change the way we think about things. At this point, we welcome anyone that wants to provide anything to us. Please do. We want a total package before we present it or as we present it to the district attorney's office. The timeline's just going to depend on some of that stuff coming in. Obviously, as we get stuff and after we do interviews, we'll be able to provide something. But until that's completed, there's really no timeline.
Two questions.
What does that mean?
Failed to stop his vehicle.
That's the code that Anthony violated. He failed to stop his vehicle. As you know, we will kill you.
Questions. In terms of the troopers' injuries, you say they had minor injuries to the legs. Were they treated on scene? Did they have to go to the hospital?
Treated after the fact.
Were they treated right there on scene, or did they have to go to the hospital?
After the fact.
Probably, I don't know. I shouldn't answer. I don't know specifically.
He said they were treated after the fact. In other words, they magically became injured after they killed somebody. He's caught. And then he realizes he's caught in his bullshit. Listen, he says that it was after the fact. He answered the question, and then she didn't watch.
Treated right there on scene, or did they have to go to the hospital?
Probably, I don't know. I shouldn't answer. I don't know.
Treated right there on scene. Treated on scene. Did they have to go to the hospital?
Treated after the fact.
After the fact.
Treated right there on scene, or did they have to go to the hospital?
She asked the question again. State-run media. She. Oh snap! Let me see what you guys can see. Oh snap! Man, did we just see a did we just see a glitch in the Matrix? She asked the question that he wasn't supposed to answer. He wasn't supposed to say they were treated after the fact. Then she asked the question again for him to get the question right. Whoa. Did we just catch a glitch in the Matrix?
Injuries. You say they had two questions. In terms of the troopers' injuries, you say they had minor injuries to the legs. Were they treated on scene? Did they have to go to the hospital?
Treated after the fact.
Were they treated right there on scene, or did they have to go to the hospital?
Probably, I don't know. I shouldn't answer. I don't know specifically. I apologize.
And then my other question is, I suppose as it relates to the video that you're looking at, you said you're actively seeking any video people have. No body cam. There is dash cam. Does the dash cam video show this incident?
I can't speak to what the dash cam with the active investigation, but no, we do not have body cameras at this time.
I can't speak to the dash cam. Why can't you speak about the dash cam? You have a dash cam? Is that what you're saying? Did the dash cam catch this? How many dash cams were there? There were lots of cops there. So was there more than one dash cam in that area? That's the report. That's what the state-run media should be asking, because he's not going to tell you what's on it, but you should find out how many cars were in that exact location where they murdered Anthony.
Not state police.
It is your staff, Allegrini Jr.
One moment.
I'm just unfamiliar with the state police's internal affairs. Like, how do you all deal with that?
Internal affairs. If you're new to my channel, you got to listen to what I'm going to tell you right now. Go to deletelaws.com and go and get the periodicals or the downloads for, I don't know what they're called on my website, but go get the Mullen Commission that's on my website, deletelaws.com. And while you're there, get a trifold and put it in every car you have. But get the Mullen Commission and read it about what they learned about internal affairs. And the Mullen Commission breaks down, it's literally written for fourth graders. It's so easy to read. And each chapter is like a page or two, and it's called like police acting as drug dealers, police the bodyguards for drug dealers. Like that's how it reads. And then it reads internal affairs is a part of corruption. I can't remember all the headlines from the Mullen Commission. I've read it a few times, but if you go to my website and you get the Mullen Commission and you read it about internal affairs, your brain will never, ever see it the same again. Never. Once you read what is written in the Mullen Commission, MOLLEN, on my website, Delete Laws, once you read what internal affairs actually is, you can't come back from it. You lose all faith in it. You think if the cops assault you or hurt you and it's on camera that internal affairs is going to get these guys and get them fired, right? Wait till you read what's in the Mullen Commission. Get ready. Strap up. You're not ready for what you're going to read. And it's easy to read.
We know how to fill it up with police. How do you deal with investigating your own troopers?
So when we have an investigation like this,
She said, how do you deal with investigating your officers?
An officer involved shooting, we bring in investigator from a different station just to
You bring in cops from another station to investigate the cops. Gotcha.
remove any familiarity between them and the investigators.
They don't know about each other at all. They're not familiar with each other at all. They're not under a thin blue line. Okay.
They step in, they investigate.
They step in.
Present it to the district attorney's office.
Present it to our partners, the district attorneys.
Our internal affairs almost mirrors that.
Your internal affairs is inept and
sees what's going on, collects information, prepares himself for an administrative action after everything is completed. But that's not until we get a clearance or a prosecutorial decision from the district attorney's office.
And then will you name also the state troopers?
At the end of this, if they are alleged of any wrongdoing, their names would obviously be released.
But not until then.
not murder. If they're found to do no wrongdoing, not murder.
Not until then. Nothing at this point. No. For the safety of the troopers.
Once again, for the safety of the troopers.
We've already had issues with a news release where we identified the trooper investigating, and people have been seeking out his information, trying to put it there on the public and make it.
Yeah, because we're tired of you murdering people and then double talking and double speaking and lying about everything you're doing. And it's you reveal yourself. Your mantra is officer safety. You've said it 36 times.
Known to other people on social media, so it's obviously a concern for the officer involved.
What's the status of the troopers, or are they on leave? What's the
Administrative leave. We get 72 hours administrative leave. At that point, you get to come back. We'll do the interview. Pending a clearance, we will be on limited duty or administrative duties. Pending a decision from the district attorney.
Captain, you said failed to yield.
Pending a decision from the district attorney, who you heard earlier say that these are our partners. He said partners 10 times.
To yield as as Allegrini was driving towards the officers?
Active investigation.
And how many times as Allegrini was driving? Captain, you said failed to yield as Allegrini was driving towards the officers?
You said failed to yield as Allegrini was driving towards the officers. The state-run media is trying to find a way to run a story to paint Anthony as though he was trying to run down cops. Just make that what he's asking. Hey, the state media is saying, I'm trying to give you a way so you can make it look like he was trying to run the cops down. So, what do you got?
Active investigation.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the question, bro. I'm not going to take that one, though. Give me another one.
Times did the one officer was driving towards the officers?
Active investigation.
And how many times did the one officer shoot Allegrini?
And how many times did the one officer shoot?
At this point, we're only aware of one shot. We feel pretty confident that it was one discharge.
We feel pretty confident it was just one discharge.
To where on his body was it?
That'll come out throughout the.
Where did he get shot on his body? From 1 foot away, where did one human being shoot another human being because they wouldn't stop their car? Where did that happen? Where did he get shot at for not stopping his car, is what the guy asked.
Investigation.
And again, it's your stance that he was in the driver's seat at the time of the shooting?
Based on physical evidence we have at the scene, witness statements, and even some video evidence obtained, yes, we were very confident.
You cannot say
We're very confident he was in the driver's seat. You shot him as he was driving away slowly.
why his body ended up feet in front of that parked Audi.
I cannot.
Well, he got shot in the chest, most likely because he was all curled up in a ball. Actually, I got the murder video. I'm going to show it at the end. I'm going to show the murder video. Welcome to another demonetized stream right here on Delete Laws.
Was that Audi on your radar before you showed up to that?
No.
Was the Audi on the radar before? No, because he wasn't a part of that. His lawyer said that.
At the time of the shooting, if you were to expand our view, right, what was still going on, what wasn't going on, were people fleeing? Have troopers who were responding, did they come upon this show that was going on, or this, this drag racing event?
A very similar scene that was described.
Was that a cut?
Going on, or this, this drag racing event?
A very similar.
Was that a cut?
Show that was going on, or this, this drag racing event?
A very similar scene.
Did they cut it?
That was described by Commissioner Outlaw. I mean, it was a chaotic scene. There was northbound and southbound shut.
It was a chaotic scene.
Down, thousands of people standing on the roadway.
Thousands of people. Danger, danger, danger. They're going to save the day. They're going to kill people.
Vehicles doing donuts, fireworks being set off. It was chaotic.
So the shooter, the state trooper who fires was not one who was hit, correct?
As one of the injured officers?
The officer, the state trooper who fires the shot that strikes the driver. He's not one of the men who were hit.
He is one of the members that was injured.
He is one of them.
Yes, sir.
He was injured after the fact. After he murdered somebody, then all of a sudden he magically got injured.
Were the passengers of the Audi taken into custody as well?
They were detained. They were identified and obviously part of the investigation at this point. No decision on charges or anything of that nature.
Wait, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Passengers of the Audi taken into custody as well?
The passengers of the Audi, were they taken into custody as well? 1 second.
They were detained. They were identified and obviously part of the investigation at this point. No decision on charges or anything of that nature.
How many troopers did you have out there at the time?
Of the shooting, 2. Actually, the other ones were responding along with Philadelphia police officers. These were just the first 2 that arrived on scene.
I'm sorry, and you also said that, so the command was failed to yield. He failed to yield.
Yes.
Failed to yield meaning he failed to stop.
Correct.
So he's moving at the time. If you're telling him to stop, and he doesn't stop, and you fire, he's moving at the time you fire on him.
He failed to yield, sir. That's the statement that we're given.
And he hit them with his car.
They received injuries at some point during the incident.
Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Listen to the garbage, scripted, just garbage, state-run media garbage. Listen to this.
Correct.
So he's moving at the time. If you're telling him to stop, and he doesn't stop, and you fire, he's moving at the time you fire on him.
He failed to yield, sir. That's the statement that we're given.
He's clarifying that this guy was trying to run cops over. That's why he's going to run on his story tomorrow. Officer tries to run over police and gets shot. He's making sure he can run his headline. I asked that question. And then the cop affirmed it, that yes, he was moving. He was trying to hit the cops then.
And he hit them with his car.
And then the other state-run media operative comes flying right in after to clarify again. And then he hit them with his car. And then here comes trusted Boy Scout Piggy number 1.
They received injuries at some point during the incident.
Yes, you can trust me. You can trust that we took the report. We saw those piggies were injured. Their paws were broken.
Taking part in
Their hooves were busted.
the the drag racing? And
Active investigation. We're not going to, allude to what he was doing.
He wasn't doing anything. He was there shooting film. He was having a good time with the other young people watching. You said there was thousands of people there. They were all enjoying themselves.
One officer's been put on leave or both the officers?
Both officers. Even when you witness a critical incident like this, you get put on administrative leave. Just
We give them all paid time off if they kill people or they're a part of killing people. But if someone dies around you, you're all going to jail.
I think the process and, for mental health's sake.
Everybody at the street race made a dangerous situation. It's dangerous and everybody can go to jail. Everybody can get prosecuted. But if the cops see something traumatic, they all get time off and they all get time off together and it's paid.
There's obviously a lot of videos out there and a lot of speculation. Anything else you'd want to say to the public about, those glimpses of video that people are seeing right now?
It's hard to put a whole story together off a glimpse of video. You will not know the whole story if you see something after it occurred, before it occurred. It's putting the piece together, and
it's putting the pieces together to sell you a narrative.
As an agency, as we investigate this, that's what we're doing. We're collecting everything so that we have that clear picture of what occurred, so the truth can be discovered, as the district attorney said, and then we will,
there it is.
Clear picture of what occurred, so the truth can be discovered, as the district attorney said, and then
see that the district attorney and I agree. We're going to get the truth. We promise. If we get any videos that show the whole situation, we're going to share them with the public.
We will present that to the district attorney so that a decision can be made.
This is a broader question, but why don't you have body camera?
We're in the process of getting body cameras. I just know that we are moving towards that. It is in place, but we just haven't gone there yet.
Is it that no state police in Pennsylvania have body cameras, or just certain troops have it, or?
At this point, no, but I know they will be rolling out soon.
So no one in the state of Pennsylvania, no trooper has a body camera?
Not at this moment, I don't believe. I know it is.
What a Boy Scout, right? Cover up his uniform and look at him. What a dweeb.
Future, and it's a slow rollout. The funding is there, 100%, and this is across the state. It takes a while to outfit, an agency across the state, but we are moving to that, but we aren't there yet.
Are you joined
One
by
last question.
Are you joined by
One last question.
Philadelphia police out there at the time? Are there Philadelphia officers out?
And of course, it's to the one who wants to write his headline about how Anthony tried to run them over.
With your troopers at the time?
Not at the time of the shooting. Obviously they were responding. They are sometimes our biggest help out there, and they were coming out in full force to help support us and control that incident. But at the time the shooting occurred, they were not on scene.
And these were troopers. These were not commanding officers in any way. These were both state troopers?
2 state troopers working a midnight shift.
So they were the only law enforcement that was there
At the scene. There may have been some on the other side of 95. This was, underneath the bridges there. There's a wall in between. Yeah. There were some on the other side, but at that physical scene, they were the only 2.
Thank you. Thank you, folks. Thank you.
Okay, so there's the explaining away right there. But let's go to Anthony. Do you guys want to see the murder video? But I just want to see if there's any kind of update from anyone. 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. Nobody has the name Anthony Allegrini in their headline. There's no videos that are called Anthony Allegrini that are more than 2 months old. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? The story is just dead. 1.7 thousand views.
But first tonight, the family of an 18-year-old shot and killed by PA State Police speaking out tonight through their lawyer. They want answers as to what happened. Good evening, I'm Sheba Russell.
I'm Jason Martinez.
Now they're going to put their spin on it, of course, state-run media.
So here's what we know so far here tonight at 10 o'clock. Police say that 18-year-old Anthony Allegrini was part of a large group of people on I-95 Saturday night. They were racing cars.
Here we go. Here we go. The destruction of a young man.
Doing burnouts.
Racing cars, doing burnouts. Anthony was doing that.
Drifting, you name it. State police claim that Allegrini hit 2 troopers responding to the crowd with his car.
Wow, listen to the framing. Oh my God. Oh my God. I remember you guys just saw me look this up with you. I knew it would be bad. I didn't know it would be that bad. Did you hear that trash? Did you hear? He framed it. The lawyer's going to come on and say something completely the opposite, but the reporter still frames it like state-run media. Wow. Just remember that if you ever read a headline about me that I lost my temper, started going crazy on cops and punching, and no, I didn't. No, I did not. That did not happen. They're lying. I did not assault or attempt to shoot, or I didn't do any of those things. I did not. I will not go to violence. I will not fall into your death trap so you can kill me. I won't do it, pigs. I won't do it. It'll never happen. Not interested in a shootout. I'm interested in becoming governor. Changing it from the top down. That's what I'm interested in, you dirty pigs.
One of the troopers fired a single shot,
and the dirty media,
killing him. Per state police protocol, the troopers who had minor injuries were put on leave for 72 hours before they will be interviewed. Now, Shayna, the victim's family, says that is not the whole story here.
That's exactly right.
But you heard how he just framed it. He said, but that's not the whole story. You already framed it, bro. You painted him ugly immediately.
Family of Anthony Allegrini Jr. inviting us into their
just so you guys know, that used to be a racial slur. They used to say, "Don't paint me black." I learned it when I was a very young person. Thought it was really funny when I was a kid. It's despicable to me now, but now I say, "Don't paint me ugly," because that's the truth. Don't paint me ugly.
Delaware County home. They chose not to speak, but they had their attorney make their first statement. The overwhelming message tonight: this shouldn't have happened to their son.
There was a message that came out by the state police, came out by the district attorney's office and the chief of police from Philadelphia. And this message that's currently coming out right now is not telling the full story of who Anthony Allegrini is.
For the first time, we're hearing from an attorney for the family of Anthony Allegrini Jr. The 18-year-old was fatally shot early Sunday morning on I-95 near Penn's Landing during the drag racing chaos that broke out. The Allegrini family clearly distraught, holding their son's senior photo in their hands.
He's someone who never been in trouble before. He is somebody that graduated high school last year, was currently working 3 jobs. He had worked hard to save up enough money to purchase that car, which was his pride and joy.
And it was that car, a black Audi S4, state police say was seen by troopers Sunday morning parked on the shoulder of I-95 with its license plate, quote, completely obscured. State police say Allegrini was in the driver's seat of the car when police attempted to approach him on foot and were then hit by the car. One trooper firing a single shot, killing Allegrini. The family questions the police account because of this video that allegedly shows Allegrini still alive on the ground after the shooting next to a state police.
Look, he's got his gun out still. Now watch.
He
points his gun at the person. Did you see that?
Alive on the ground after the shooting.
So just so you know, I got the raw video. I'm glad they blurred this for YouTube so they can't say that I showed a death. Now I don't have to show the video that Rights On sent me. But he's on the ground. It looks like he's gut shot or chest shot. He's got his arms. He's kind of branching his arms and legs out because he's dying on the ground right there. The cop, instead of rendering aid, as you saw, pointed his gun at him instead.
Because of this video that allegedly shows Allegrini still alive on the ground after the shooting.
Allegrini, he's on the ground, still alive. His body's in a totally flexed position. His arms and his legs are completely outstretched. And he's he's like this. It looks like he's trying to get air. That's his body position if you saw Raw Dog. And so the cop, instead of rendering aid, as the kid is like, you can see his body's convulsing. You can see every muscle in his body is flexed. You can't see it here, obviously. Instead of rendering any aid, he points his gun at him. I mean, you can see it yourself. Now, I wonder if YouTube will demonetize the video because I was going to show the death, but now I don't have to because the mainstream state-run media, they showed it. So now, let's see. So there it is. He's still got his gun pointed at the kid who's writhing in pain.
Police
Now he turns and points the gun directly at the person in the car. So if you're new to Delete Laws, we often slow down the video all the way. I do. I often slow the video down all the way down to 0 to 2.5. There it is. Look at this psycho pig Just anybody driving by. Let's watch it again in slow motion. Let's watch how he pulls his gun up like everybody there is trying to kill him. Ready? Let me kill the sound so we don't get killed by the audio. There he is. He was pointing the gun at the kid. Now out to you. Look at him. Everybody's trying to kill him. The person driving by in their car, be afraid of that person. They're likely trying to kill you. Is that not his mentality? Watch. He's pointing his gun at the kid who's writhing in pain, dying. And then when you drive by, quickly point your gun at you in the car as you're driving by. Why? Why? What the fuck are we talking about? That's the training that they're getting? That's the training that when you say more training, that you drive by in your car, I'm pointing down at a kid I shot in America. You are now the bad guy. I'm going to shoot you too. I'm going to shoot you as you drive by in your car. Why are you pointing a gun at someone driving by in a car? Could you even imagine driving by the scene and seeing someone get shot and you're filming and the cop turns around and points his gun at you? Just imagine that's you. Imagine you're the person who filmed this. And as you're driving by, a cop shot somebody, he turns and points his gun at you. Would you film police after that? Ooh. Just imagine if that was you. Wow. That was insane. This guy's a nut. Sorry about that. Let me do this. Let me go back to normal speed. We can listen to the state-run media, but then we're going to hear, I think we hear a little bit more from the lawyer. Pretty much, I just heard state-run media for the most part on this. Did you guys, put a 1 in the chat if it's been mostly state-run media, and then this tiny statement by the lawyer, and then the lies and the lies again. They lied about him in the beginning, and then this lie started again as soon as the lawyer was off. I've only heard a 10-second excerpt from the lawyer.
Or near his Audi, and a trooper pointing a gun at a passerby.
This was not somebody that was involved with doing donuts in the middle of Philadelphia. He was not involved with blocking 95. He was a spectator.
State police say Allegrini failed to comply with orders to yield before troopers fired.
If you're in fear of death or bodily injury, or you believe somebody else present on scene could be in fear or at risk of death or...
If you are in fear, where's that come from? Terry versus Ohio. It's in the name of officer safety.
To yield before troopers fired.
She goes back to the lies.
State police say Allegrini failed to...
State police say that they jumped in the way of his car and he didn't want to stop and they killed him.
Comply with orders to yield before troopers fired.
If you're in the fear of death or bodily injury, or you believe somebody else present on scene could be in fear or at risk of death or bodily injury, deadly force would be appropriate. This is just another example of the lawless culture, which has become the norm for the people traveling on our roadways.
The family.
What the fluck? Did you just hear that? Did you just hear what they said? Listen.
Injury, deadly force would be appropriate. Fear of death or bodily injury, or you believe somebody else present on scene could be in fear or at risk of death or bodily injury, deadly force would be appropriate. This is just another
Wow, just total justification of murder. He doesn't know any of the facts at all. Just if the officer was in fear, that's all it took.
Example of the lawless culture.
This is an example of the lawless culture. Your cops are murdering people.
Which has become the norm for the people traveling on our roadways.
The entire piece is a cop-sucking piece.
Family attorney says the family is looking for answers.
We know that the district attorney's office has already said they're looking for the truth.
Put a 1 in the chat if you know the district attorney's office is lying. The district attorney office is making sure that they have all the camera footage so they know what's appropriate, what they can get away with, how they can explain it away.
You can believe this family's looking for the truth.
Well, the words justice is what we're actually looking for, but I do understand what you mean by the truth. The question is, will you get justice? No.
The family attorney says they would like to see all of the videos from state police on this incident, and they're hoping they receive more insight from investigators and the DA's office. Anthony Allegrini Jr.'s funeral is set for this Thursday. Guys.
All right,
Great
Shayna, thank you.
job. He was connected to the city big time. So they're all 2 months old. All of the updates are 2 months old. So let me go back to, let me go to my history here and go to Anthony Allegrini, his channel, because I started on his channel. I subscribed. Philadelphia, Anthony Allegrini Jr. Here's his channel right here. I've subscribed already, and now I'm going to drop this link down here in the chat below. I want everybody to go over here and subscribe to this channel right now. Don't meet me there, beat me there. Get over there, subscribe, and we're going to let them know we got your back. Now, let's watch all their videos so that we can show support for this family. They have the 2-week-old video here. Let's get into it. Okay, so just so you guys know, I think this is the video I started with that Rights On sent to me. So drop a like there right away. So get it in the algorithm. Hey. Let's start it off with God, it's hard to do. It's hard to do. Drop a comment for these people. Man, that choked me up a little bit there. So drop a comment for these people. Let them know we're coming through, that they should come on the channel as soon as they can. Get light on this. Rest in peace, Anthony Allegrini. Say his name. Team DLZ coming through. Email me. I'll interview you. It'll catch fire and other auditors will come out of the woodwork. Let's go. Let's get light on Anthony's murder right now. Yeah. So let's it's only 5 minutes. Who's down for it? I mean, who's down for it? Who's down to watch this 5 minutes real quick? Who's down to watch this real fast? Put a 1 in the chat if you're down, because we're going to do it. I'm going to watch this bad chicken right now. Let's watch it together. Let's watch it together. I'll move myself out of the way so you can read the words. It's not going to hinder you guys reading the words. If you can't read, I'll read it for you. Warning, while it is important to see, this video shows graphic footage of a young life stolen. Potentially offensive language is used by witnesses of the event. No doubt they'll all traumatized. Viewer discretion. Imagine going out to celebrate your birthday. Your family, your kids, your best friends are there. You go home, your family has a cake for you. Your best friend, your only son, takes the lead on singing to you. Life is great.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anthony. Happy birthday to you.
Just come here. Because I totally come here.
Yay!
I can still get them all in one blow.
Not knowing that would be the last time you see your 18-year-old son again. Your best friend. The following song, titled How I Felt, was written and recorded by Anthony's friend. He was in Anthony's passenger seat when Anthony was shot by the Pennsylvania State Police.
Yeah, so it seems that I'm the one in question, but why am I in question? Why do I try when you just get to justify? Just being honest here, I'm losing my mind while you just standing by. And you watching, ain't doing nothing. You're screaming and coughing, I'm screaming and crying. The ones we supposed to call were the ones that did it, and they laughing. Why were they laughing? They bro was gasping. I can't even help it. Forced to sit there watching, ain't nobody helping. Screaming, someone help his body turning lifeless. Hoping that he pulled through anything. Still thinking that I might see him. Yeah, I'm not scared to death no more. LLC in LA, two angels watching over me. I'm looking up into the sky. Oh, what a sight to see. Fire was blasting off. As for you know we taking off. Oh, that was a perfect night. Taking over and taking off again and again. We should never would end. Never would end. No, what I do to see your face again. Watching, ain't doing nothing. He's screaming and coughing. He coughing. I'm screaming and crying. The ones we supposed to call coughing. I'm screaming and crying. The ones we supposed to call were the ones that did it, and they laughing. Why were they laughing? Big bro was gasping. I can't even help it. Forced to sit there watching, ain't nobody helping. Screaming, someone help him.
Help him! He's fucking bleeding! He's bleeding! Yes, he's fucking bleeding! Help him! Fucking help him! What the fuck is wrong with you? You're watching him bleed! Oh my fucking God! Bro, fucking help him! He's not fucking moving, bro. What the fuck? Fucking help him! Yes, he's not fucking moving! We need to fucking help him! He's not fucking moving! We need to help him, sir! You shot him! You fucking shot him!
Somebody get shot?
They have him in handcuffs, just like I said. Take a look. They got him in handcuffs. That was somebody else. I'm sorry. They had somebody else in torture cuffs. Forgive me. He's dead right there. He's on the ground laying there. He's standing over him. There he is on the ground. Do they got him in torture cuffs? I can't see it. It looks like torture cuffs to me. Looks like he's in torture. Does it look like he's in torture cuffs to you? See something on the wrist. Is he in torture cuffs? Yes or no?
Oh, he was just a kid. Trigger happy pig.
Trigger happy pig. He's pointing the gun at people just driving by.
Now the moment that it gets only thing that makes it a little bit better is the fact that it would want me seeing under the weather. Man, I wanna text your phone, but I know
Can't see.
you ain't gonna.
I think he's in torture cuffs.
It's not
Can't tell. He's dead on the ground.
It's the hardest realization and the part that don't get better. You watching, ain't doing.
Oh my God.
Hardest realization and the part that don't get better. You watching, ain't doing nothing. He's screaming and coughing, I'm screaming and crying. The ones we supposed to call were the ones that did it. And they laughing, oh why were they laughing? They brought was gasping, I can't even help it. Forced to sit there watching, ain't nobody helping. Screaming someone help his body turning lifeless. Hoping that he pulled through and he lives. Triple A, we love you, man. It's your birthday today, and I know you're looking down.
Big, beautiful eyes, the cutest baby I had ever seen. Memories of watching you grow up, it feels like it was all a dream. Always dancing, always smiling. The truth is, even though you were younger and I was older, I admired your life motto. Crazy hair, don't care. Walking around in heels. Watch you hit that slap shot, it gives me all the feels. You did what made you happy. You cared and never judged. You loved so hard on everyone, you couldn't hold a grudge. Someone's skin color didn't matter, their gender, orientation, or creed. You loved everyone the same. More people like you is what we need. Your smile filled up the room, all eyes locked in on you. Lord knows what you'd be doing, not even sure that you knew. But laughter was the goal, couldn't quit until you got some. You always won that battle, marching to the beat of your own drum. Laughing, joking, and having fun, being weird inside the store. All these things people remember makes me crave so much more. Memories that we'll cherish as we continue to gather together. The truth is, baby boy, you've made all of us better. We miss you and love you so much. We'll always search for that answer. In the meantime, though, little ant, just be our forever dancer.
Okay, that's about all I can do. I'm a mess and I gotta stop. So I'm not ashamed of being broken down by watching that. Well, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54. There you go. So, yeah, it's let's take a break from that. It was just if you I got to get my mic fixed. I'm sorry, my mic's broken, so I'm going to get it fixed though. Really sad to watch. It was horrible. Get over to the guy's page and make sure you subscribe to his parents' page, who obviously the sister, that kid had a lot of people who loved him, obviously. You know, he was quite a personality. Remember, that cop shot him at point blank range. That cop shot him from me to you away. That's how close the cop was to the windshield when he shot Anthony. That's the kind of psychopath pigs we have in America. And then when Someone drove by, that nasty pig turned and pointed his gun at the person driving by. And then he let him lay there on the concrete and die. He probably shot him through the heart, so he was probably dead immediately. Within like 1 minute, he gagged on his own and he died. And so he watched him die, though. He didn't try to render aid at all. If he shot him square through the heart at close range like that with a high caliber weapon, he's dead. That's it. You get shot in the heart. If I pick my gun up from right here and shoot myself in the heart, which would never happen, never, I would never kill myself, ever, 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 just so you know, it would never happen. And believe me, there's some peaks and valleys being known. A lot of people know who you are. There's some peaks and valleys, like going through this kid's death. This is definitely a valley, and hopefully we get to a peak. We won't until someone's the executive and I nominate myself to be leader of the peons, and we are all peons.